This update is brought to you by Wendy's. Cactus League play, Padres Dodgers today. The game is final. They lost 4-1. They're 0-2 in spring training. Should we sound the fire alarm now? They take on the Brewers tomorrow afternoon. Pedro Avila expected to start tomorrow's game for the Padres. And tomorrow night, Aztecs take on Fresno State on the road. 7 p.m. tip-off. 6:30 is when our pregame coverage starts right here on San Diego Sports 760. When you think Wendy's Biggie Bag, think go-to deal. Because with your choice of a junior bacon cheeseburger or crispy chicken sandwich, plus 4-piece nugs, junior fries, and a small soft drink, Biggie hits every time. So grab a Wendy's Biggie today. U.S. price and participation may vary. Third-party delivery pricing may be higher.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Kevin Acee will join us from Peoria, Arizona, wherever he is this afternoon after this game, and Camelback. He'll join us coming up at 5:30. I don't want to be an alarmist. I really don't. But I don't know if a team has ever dug out from 0-2 in the Cactus League to even have a good regular season. But I don't want to be the guy to say you can't start 0-2 in the Cactus League and at least, maybe win 70 games this year. But I'm kidding. The Padres are 0-2. We obviously joked during the fusion there. If you don't think you can read anything into yesterday, which we did say,
yeah,
because we talked more about the offseason than the game. If you can't read into anything from yesterday, you absolutely cannot read into anything
Dude.
From today. The lineup, is a complete B League lineup. There's some pitching.
B League?
Yeah,
that's
B-League.
kind. That's a very
it's
kind.
It's the B team.
That's the B team?
That's the B team for the San Diego Padres. Maybe it's the C team, but
C team?
There's some pitching in there that's going to get opportunities, obviously, for the Padres. But it's 2 games. Here's the good news. You don't see the Dodgers again until March 20th. Here's the bad news. You see the Dodgers and all of them on March 20th in Korea. But the Padres lose today. What was the final? 4-1?
4-1.
Where do you go from here if you're Mike Schilt? I'm kidding.
Do you have to flip a table? Do you have to flip a spread?
I don't know.
You have to get in someone's face and tell them to be better.
I know it's a big start tomorrow for whoever's starting.
Pedro Avila.
Yeah.
The Padres' 4th starter coming up this season.
Number 4 starter?
That may be 5, because I think Matt Waldron might be their 4 starter.
Dude, I don't even know. Honestly, this is what I said yesterday. I still feel this way. I was really excited for turning a page, and I still am. I'm excited for Korea. I'm excited for the next couple of weeks. But you hope to turn a page, and then you look up, and it's 18-2 the last 2 days. Again, it means nothing.
Run differential is a problem.
But I'm watching the games, and I want to enjoy the games as a fan. As a baseball fan, I'm watching the games. I'm looking for silver linings and moments and things to emerge or occur, and I haven't seen any, unfortunately. I have to be honest. I don't read into it. I'm not concerned about it. I was glad Jay Cronenworth homered. I'm glad that Yuki Matsui had a scoreless inning yesterday. But, again, I'm just watching as a fan, hoping to see something that I enjoy from a Padres perspective. And if I'm being honest, it's it's already pulling teeth. They've been outscored 18-2 by the Dodgers. Is there anything really worse than that?
Well, no, but again, who cares how many runs they give up and how bad they lose in games? It doesn't matter.
I know. You're right.
It's about who you're seeing out there that I think the biggest issue is with the fan base, and where the fan base kind of gets worried.
You're saying more yesterday than today, though? Today, the road games are always like this.
I know.
You say 1 or 2 regular on the road.
I would say both days combined. Especially today. That lineup this morning, and I really don't want to complain
that's
about
what I'm saying.
And I'm not going to. The only thing I'm going to say is I first looked at that lineup, and I only name 3 dudes in it.
Oh, me too. I'll be honest. I'm with you. First names?
First names.
I was probably at 2.5. That was my over-under play.
And the problem is the Padres on their little lineup graphic they put out only put out last names now.
Right. We have to look it up.
I've literally had to look up some names. I'm like, who is this guy? Graham Pauley's playing first base today. Never played there in his entire existence in baseball.
Fine. That's fine for me. It's spring training.
It is spring training. You got to just whatever.
Right.
But you can't tell me that all of a sudden, once the season starts, if Graham Pauley's at the big league level, they're going to put him at his actual position, right?
Right. Is Graham... It goes back to yesterday's issue, which is you have a lot of question marks. Honestly, none bigger than something that had nothing to do with these 2 games, like what AJ Cassavell writes today at MLB.com, that Yu Darvish's spring training goal be ready by Korea.
Oh, great.
And I'm thinking, well, like be ready, like you're going to be with the team in Korea, or you're going to pitch in Korea. I mean, it doesn't sound like he's really behind. I mean, maybe it's a day or two, and at the end of the day, that's probably not that big of a deal. But he hasn't pitched yet. He's not pitching tomorrow. I don't know exactly when he's supposed to make his debut. It's obviously soon, and he's supposed to throw an inning or two. But again, through a translator, he said, right now the goal is to be ready by Korea. I'm aiming so that I'm ready by the time we get there. Does that scream like he's going 6 scoreless innings against the Dodgers March 20th to you?
Not quite, no.
And again, what we saw, again, not to read into it, but man, there's a lot to be figured out in 4 weeks. Is there not? And I'm talking about with the regulars and the guys that are earning the big contracts. That's Yu Darvish and Joe Musgrove. These are guys you're counting on March 20th and 21st. Then when you get home for opening day, March 28th. So again, would some of it like be masked? Would we be in a better mood if the last 2 days were 18-2 San Diego? Yeah, probably. You know, but again, it doesn't have to do with being outscored 18-2 the last 2 days.
It's about who's out there.
And also just like these questions looming. I mean, all they talk about, I'm listening to Eduardo Perez and Tim Kirkland and Kevin Brown. And they're like, the Padres don't have the left fielder or a center fielder or a DH or a number 4 or a number 5 starter or a bench established as of yet. They said that, right? So that's where we start once again here today.
So last night, Dennis put out a piece.
Yes.
And the headline of it was about the Padres pants situation.
Yeah.
By the way, they were wearing their regular pants yesterday from last year. If you didn't notice.
Right.
Which I didn't notice because there was a picture going around on the social media, X, Twitter. I believe Xander Bogaerts bending over, and you could see it all. You could see
but apparently that wasn't a pant.
You could see his Cam Johnson, all of it. And that wasn't a pant issue. It was just
the same pants they've been wearing for a decade.
Same pants they're wearing. So that was a big topic of Dennis's article yesterday was pants, because the pants are like a talking point for everybody in baseball.
What is spring training? There's the story.
There was a part of Dennis's piece last night that made me go, uh-oh. What have we been saying? We said it a lot yesterday. They're going to make a move. They're going to fill these holes. They're going to fill these needs. How could they not? How could they not? Because if they don't, they are walking a very, very thin tightrope. And they're also possibly going to be in a situation where if everything doesn't work out perfectly, there's going to be problems.
Okay. So what's he write?
This is what Dennis wrote. While they await their updated pants, they have holes to fill at the following positions.
I love that.
Ba-dum-bum. Left field, center field, designated hitter, and the final 2 spots in the starting rotation. Acquiring a pricey free agent or a high-paid trade candidate would be a surprise. The Padres appear compelled to give the various prospects in big league camp, some with little experience about baseball, ample opportunity to win opening day jobs. First pitch at the Sky Dome is in little less than 4 weeks, and the risk of a less than fully baked roster is significant.
Read the first part again, the significant part, like the significant trade or big time free agent. Read that to me.
He says,
part of the sentence.
Acquiring a pricey free agent.
Okay, we know that. We've said that.
Or a high-paid trade candidate would be a surprise.
Yeah, but that fits what we're saying, because that's high-paid trade candidate.
Well,
pricey free agent.
But then saying that first pitch at the Sky Dome is in less than 4 weeks, and the risk of a less than fully baked roster is significant, which means, like he said, guys that have appeared
in few games,
very few
games,
games, could be on this opening day roster.
But okay, two thoughts on that. He's not ruling out the possibility of a significant trade. He's ruling out the possibility of them taking on a lot of salary via trade, right? He's saying a pricey acquisition.
Well, does that also mean prospect pricey? Like
that's a good question.
Like, could it mean this guy they could go out and get, but it would cost significant prospect capital?
That's a good question. But here's the other thing. If you don't have a fully baked roster come March 20th in Korea, and we keep talking about this, I'm talking about it, you're talking about it, Dennis is writing about it. Is it the end of the world if you went to Korea and they said, you know what, Darvish is close, give him a week. Musgrove, we hoped he could go 5 innings. He's only going to be able to go 4. We didn't want to use starters in relief during these 2 games, but you know what? We're actually going to do it. We're going to pitch Pedro Avila in relief. We're going to pitch Johnny Brito in relief, and we're going to use Jackson Merrill in left field. Now we are still in the outfield market, and spring training's not over, and guys are going to be on waivers in a week, and we're going to be active on waivers. Is it the worst thing in the world if in Korea for 2 games they didn't pitch Yu Darvish and Jackson Merrill started a couple of games, and there were things still to be determined?
John, it's not about just a couple games.
No, it is based on what I just said. It's absolutely about that. I'm saying that if Darvish isn't ready because he's got to wait another week.
It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I get that. And I understand what you're saying.
Right.
What I'm saying is it shouldn't be the hey, we can just get to Korea and the start of the season and a couple things don't go the right way and Darvish is only pitching 4 innings instead of 6 innings. Pedro Avila, Jackson Merrill plays in the left field. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's about the totality of a full season. And better than a lot. It's the grind of a regular season and the grind of baseball. It plays a massive toll on guys that have never been in those positions ever.
Well, that's why I'm saying if it happened in Korea but was rectified early, could it be if you're not fully baked for Korea?
But how are they going to be? How is it going to be rectified on August 1st, like we talked about? Or not April 1st. Sorry.
Well, I'll give you an example. I mean, this has happened with AJ Preller a lot. I'm not saying this saves the day, but there's going to be guys cut, and then there's going to be all types of free agents that are available the final day of spring training, and then there's going to be someone like the example I just gave, like Yu Darvish. Okay, if he's not ready, well, he's going to be ready at some point, and he's going to be hopefully a workhorse for you. There's no elixir. There's no Bellinger, Montgomery, Snell elixir out there for the Padres, but maybe there's still a Tommy Pham type. I think the issue in free agency is you got top line free agents and then not a lot below it. Some players in between like Tommy Pham. And then the issue from a trade perspective is, do you really want to give up your system that all you've told us about is how good the system is? So are you willing to move players in your system for 2024 gains or not? Also, you have to ask it from this position as well. If AJ Preller needs to field a winner in 2024, is he more inclined to move players in his system to field a winner in 2024 or to use his system in 2024? I would think trade away some of his system to try to win at the major league level in 2024. If I'm AJ Preller, you've been saying this, I disagree with this. If AJ Preller's you know what, screw it, I'll go down with the young guys. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't I go down with the veteran guys? I would trade away my system to keep my job as opposed to use my system to lose my job.
Well, I think by doing that, and why I think that might be a situation where he's, if I'm going down my guys, is because if you traded your guys for a 1 year,
well, maybe not 1 year,
1 or 2 years of somebody, right?
Yeah, or more, but yeah.
I mean, they only had a year and a half of Soto.
Right, but if you trade young guys,
yeah,
you get multiple years of control for a major leaguer, right? But you're giving up 6 years of control for the young guy.
True.
Yep.
But I'm just saying, these are the players that he believes in the most, which are into his system. So why not just ride with that and see how it goes? And
because they're 20,
I know,
that would be my reason, because they're young.
I know.
They're not ready.
I don't agree with it. I don't think that this is the smartest route to go. Could it work out in a big way? Absolutely, it could. That there's always that chance that it could work out in a big way where a couple of these prospects turn out to be really good major leaguers, and that could that could end up potentially saving his job long term. But the problem with that is, John, there is zero track record of that succeeding here in San Diego with him as a general manager. That's why it's so, I think, for the fan base, unnerving right now, is because it would be great if we and the fans and everybody could look back and be like, hey, remember when this wave came up for Preller and it worked? I trust him. He's done it before. I've seen it from him. He's never done that. There's been pieces here and there, but as far as an impactful wave of prospects that were highly touted, highly ranked, that have come through this system, nothing has fully sticked at the big league level. Stuck at the big league level. No,
but I agree with you. But you're kind of,
that's why
you agree.
This is a problem.
But that's why I think you're kind of proving my point. Why would you, if you've never ever been able to do it with the young core and the young class and a wave of prospects, why now? Like, I believe in the Padres prospects. I just don't know if I believe in them April 1st of 2024. I think they might be 1 year, half a year and a half away. I'm all for the Padres system. I think there's talent within their system. I just don't know if the talent reaps rewards from a win-loss perspective in 2024. And if it doesn't, isn't AJ Preller putting his job on the line?
Well, we know that AJ Preller has tried the quick fix. We know AJ Preller has tried the trade the top prospects for the best players. We know AJ Preller has tried the free agency route, buy.
Right.
Big time. Nothing has worked. And by nothing has worked, I understand with the NLCS in 2022, nothing has been sustainable. That's what I'm trying to say. Nothing has been sustainable. What's the one thing that he hasn't really kind of leaned into a lot of?
Developing a system to turn over at the major league level.
Yeah. Like they've tried it, but we've heard even from players that have come through the system, the patience level with this organization for guys to develop is very low.
Right.
There's not a lot of patience. If the guy doesn't perform right away, then it's like, we're screwed. And so the last thing that he hasn't fully tried is the patience route, letting guys develop and come through the system. The problem there, is we all know, is like, after hearing Eric Kacenda, is can they afford to do that? Can they afford to wait? And hearing that from Dennis and reading that in Dennis's article today or yesterday, and we'll have Kevin on later in the show to talk about it as well. You're running a huge risk by doing that. If that's the route they're going, development and young guys and guys you've maybe never heard of and filling big holes with, like, it's just, okay, good luck.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, there's a lot of questions that come out of it. I mean, when I heard Eric Kacenda on Saturday, I was impressed. I didn't think I heard someone that said we're in a developmental year. Now, I don't think that, and I don't think you want to pitch that because you're trying to sell tickets as well for 2024. But it didn't scream. What it screamed to me is we're going to do everything in our power to put ourselves in a position to make the postseason. But the actions are they haven't done anything all offseason long. They've signed a couple of relievers that have never played in the major leagues and Jurickson Profar. So the actions aren't, hey, we're putting ourselves to get into the postseason. The words are, AJ Preller has said it, Eric Kacenda and Eric Rupner have said it. So are we waiting for the other shoe to drop?
That's why our reactions most of this offseason have been of, what are they going to do? Because of what they're telling us. I know the actions definitely speak louder than words, but when you're an organization telling the fan base, we expect to be in the postseason, we expect to vie for a world championship, to fulfill Peter Seidler's dream and goal of bringing a championship to San Diego, and you go about your business by really not addressing any major needs this offseason and trading away your best player and letting your Cy Young Award winner walk and the best closer in the game walk and not addressing any of those needs, you're right, they don't match up. And that's why people are like, what are you guys doing? If they came out and said, developmental year, we want to give all our prospects or most of our top prospects a shot. We hope we can win. We want to win. Maybe not say those exact words because that would probably piss the fan base. That pissed the fan base off as well. But if that was their message of development and transition, people would be upset. But then we'd be like, hey, they're telling us what they're doing. So why should we continue to be upset about it?
Yeah, but here's the other problem. There's one other big problem. No matter what they do, if you do let your prospects develop properly, which most people advise for them doing, let's say you give your high-level prospects between 1 and 2 years to fully develop, and they're impacting your team in the second half of 2025, and certainly by 2026, if not day one of 2025. The issue is Manny Machado and Xander Bogaerts are a year and a half or 2 years older.
Yeah.
And their productivity, if you look at Fangraphs or anything from an analytical perspective, isn't going to increase, you wouldn't think. So you're pairing an older core with a younger prospect class. It's somewhat atypical. It's one thing to have an actual core in its prime with a young prospect class, but to have 22-year-olds paired with 33-year-olds, again, you can have a 22-year-old with your team. Look at the LA Dodgers. They've done it constantly. But to have a class of 20 to 22-year-olds with a class of 32 to 34-year-olds seems a little bit atypical.
It is going to be fascinating to see how this whole thing pans out, because as we're sitting here and we're talking about it, it feels just like this doesn't make sense. A lot of it doesn't make sense. The roster construction has never made sense with AJ. The development of top prospects has never really panned out to the level that you would expect with an organization and a guy that's given this much time, as the general manager. And so it's like, okay, what's going to happen? Are these prospects going to actually perform? Are the stars going to actually perform this year too? Are they not going to go in a decline being older? Is the lack of depth in your starting rotation, is that going to come back and bite you in the ass, or are you going to have like all-star years from Joe and you, and then a big jump year for Michael King?
I can't answer.
I know. And that's the thing is it doesn't feel like there's a lot of room for error, right? Like it doesn't feel like there's a lot of wiggle room with things. It's like either this has to happen or this will happen. Or if this happens, then this is going to happen. Not a like, if this happens, it's fine because there's this, they have this piece and this piece. Like it feels pretty not dire, but it's just like, we'll see.
Yeah, I was trying to find it. We had looked it up previously. Like when you look at like what Fangraphs projects for Manny Machado beyond 2024, like I've news for fans. The projections go down and they go down quickly, unfortunately.
Yeah, he gets older.
So, but that proves the point of like you got to do it now. You really do. For this core of Machado and Bogarts, you're not asking them to win you a World Series when they're 39. You're asking them to win a World Series for you when they're 31, 32. And 33 years of age. All right, more on it, including your reaction. If you want to weigh in, your thoughts on just the state of the roster. Forget the last 2 days. Your thoughts on the state of the roster. We would love to hear from Padres fans. 877-767-4760. Again, 877-767-4760. Or you can text us, 70470. Start your message with the word team. Kevin Acee will join us at 5 p.m. We'll tell you about our giveaway coming up today as well. This is Jon and Jim. Padres fans, how do you feel about this roster in general? The state of the Padres 26-man roster heading into 2024. 877-767-4760. We'll get your calls on the other side if you want to weigh in. 877-767-4760. That's next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Wendy's. Padres Dodgers, second game of Cactus League play today. Padres lost again 4-1. They play tomorrow versus the Brewers back in Peoria. Pedro Avila will make the start for the Padres. And the Aztecs take on Fresno State tomorrow night in Fresno, 7 p.m. tip-off. 6:30 is when our pregame coverage starts right here on San Diego Sports 760. When you think Wendy's Biggie Bag, think your go-to deal meal. Because with your choice of a junior bacon cheeseburger or a crispy chicken sandwich plus 4-piece nugs, junior fries, and a small soft drink, Biggie hits every time. So grab a Wendy's Biggie Bag today. U.S. price and participation may vary. Third-party delivery pricing may be higher.
All right, remember, take Jon and Jim wherever you are on the free iHeartRadio app. You can catch us on YouTube as well. Search for Jon and Jim 760. We broadcast live each and every day, 3 to 6 p.m. All right, we want to hear from Padres just on the state of the team, not the state of the spring training games. Like, why did Cal Mitchell watch that breaking ball with two? Nobody cares.
They did have their first 7 batters of the game. 5 of them struck out.
I know you were texting me every single time it happened.
It's like 4 of the first 5 struck out. Like, here we go.
I'm like, Jim, I don't even know who these guys are.
I know. I don't care.
I literally
turned the game off after like the 3rd inning.
I watched the whole thing, and I watched the whole thing.
Oh,
other than a shower
Ugh.
and like I mean, I watched a lot of this game. It was quick. It was 2.5 hour game.
Kidney stone or watch that game today on repeat forever?
The latter. Okay. 877-767-4760. Let's hear from Padres fans. And what do you just think about the state of the roster? Not about the state of these two games. 877-767-4760. Let's go to line 3, and we'll start with Gary. Gary, you're on with Jon and Jim. Thanks for calling in.
Okay. I think, quite frankly, the roster is mediocre.
Okay.
They got 2 basically good players. They got Hugh Darvish, who's a great pitcher, heading for the Hall of Fame, but he's 100 years old. And, you know, it's the curse of San Diego. You know, baseball has changed, so you can make the playoffs and you can end up in the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
But every time we get a good player, like in '86, you know, we played the Tigers in the
84
World Series. I watched that.
Yeah.
When we had Kevin Brown, you know, he had a great season for us, and then, you know, the Dodgers picked him back up. And that's going to happen when you got teams with money to burn and they're willing to sort of, you know, jimmy the rules around. Our roster is nothing to the Dodgers. I mean, it's really it's amazing that the Dodgers haven't won a World Series in quite a long time with their line.
Gary, appreciate the call. Appreciate it.
Well, no one's roster is like the Dodgers.
Not right now. 877-767-4760 if you want to weigh in on the state of the Padres roster. I mean, where he started it, yeah, Jim sneezed.
Gotcha.
Where he started is what I think is fair. He says, you know, it feels like it's a mediocre roster. I think
agree.
that's pretty reasonable.
I
don't
agree
think
with
it's I don't think it's awful, and I don't think it's the best in baseball. I think it's somewhere in between. You know, he also said Darvish is 100 years old and he's a future Hall of Famer. He's not. He's still he's not a future Hall of Famer, and B, he still has good years in him, I think. But again, it speaks to the now. Like, you're not counting on Yu Darvish in 4 years. I think you're counting on him now, if you're a Padres fan, and maybe in 2025 too.
Like, you need him to be a frontline starter for you.
Definitely.
You need Joe to be a frontline starter for you. You need Michael King to take a big leap. You know, I know the personality of Michael King is great, and I think it is too.
Mm-hmm.
But personality doesn't like win you games. It's about what you do on the field. And if Michael King doesn't take that step this year, where he has a Michael Wacha-esque season like last, I mean, then you got some problems.
Did he pitch yesterday?
Michael King, no.
Did
I thought
he pitch
he was
today?
No.
Is he going to pitch tomorrow?
I don't know.
Okay, I was just curious.
I have no idea.
And the only reason it's really normally I would not even care when these guys start pitching, but the March 13th leave for Korea is the thing that like heightens your expectations. Like, hey, they got to get these guys in the field. You need to see what they have.
I was just thinking to myself, like, if you're like Michael King or whatever, why even? I mean, you're going to Korea for what? Just to hang out because you're not going to pitch.
Do you think any of these guys are gonna be like, "Yo, I'll catch you on the other side"?
No, I don't think that. I'm just saying, if you're Matt Waldron or Pedro Avila or Johnny Brito or, you know, Michael King, you're not pitching in Korea because it's going to be Darvish and Musgrove most likely.
Well, okay. And Schilt, by the way, said he doesn't envision using starters in back of starters, like piggybacking.
Yeah.
But what happens if you need to? You got to make the trip. I mean, what if Yu Darvish goes 2 innings and you need someone to go the next 3? You're
well,
not
then you go to the bullpen.
Okay. Or you could use a starter for a couple of innings. They're bringing 5 additional players to Korea.
Right. Is it 30?
No, 31.
31.
And only 26 active, but they're able to bring 31
okay.
on the trip. So not only they're not going to go, hey, you guys, you know what? You're not even pitching in this series, so you just stick around.
No, I don't say stick around. I'm just saying you're going to Korea just to go to Korea. You're not really going to do anything.
Well, hold on. They're also playing 2 exhibition games because guys like King and whomever else are probably going to get work.
Okay,
you know,
you're right.
You're right. All right, 877-767-4760.
But to our last caller, I agree with the fact that you look at this roster, and I think it's pretty fair to say it's very mediocre, even with the top heavy talent they have.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm not doing a lot of deep diving in the other 29 rosters. Like, you know, a couple, obviously, they're better. LA, Atlanta, whatever. You know,
Philly.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking about the National League. I'm sure there's a few
Arizona.
you can mention are better. There's a few you can mention are worse. Colorado. And then there's the Padres. Now, 6 teams make the playoffs. Where are they? Are they in that 5 to 10 range? Yeah, probably. Like, some would say it's the 5th best roster. Some would say It's the 10th best roster. They got to find a way to be one of the top 6 rosters. It's as simple as that. Are they there right now? Very debatable.
Well, it's February 23rd, so of
but
course they're not there.
roster-wise.
No, even no, they're not. Even on February 23rd.
Okay, so that's the question.
It's not there.
With Tatis and Machado and Bogarts and Darvish and Musgrove, they're not there. So then they need to
their
find their way
roster
there.
will look different, but it's about what is AJ going to do to improve this roster over the course of a season, and when's he going to do it?
I think Dave knows.
Oh, I'm sure Dave knows something.
877-767-4760. Dave, you're back on Jon and Jim. Thank you.
Yeah, that's too funny, guys. I know nothing. I'm like Sergeant Schultz. I see nothing, hear nothing, but nonetheless, look, if you want to believe the cotton candy that comes out of the front office about what Peter said and did and all that stuff, that's in the past. I look at what they did in the offseason. There was no plan, and we can see it by now, to replace what they lost. Otherwise, they would have done it by now. Their plan was they had to, because of the financial issues, dump a whole lot of salary. And that they have done. The problem is that they don't have any plan to backfill with any degree of certainty. If you haven't done it by now, you're not going to do it. You can't put together a team at the last moment and then all of a sudden try to thrust them in. It hasn't worked with these guys already. So you're right, Jim. You're right. The track record doesn't give you much hope. You look at Cincinnati; they've blown past the Padres. Arizona, blown past the Padres. I mean, you can go right down the list of how far this organization has fallen. Who do they compare to? They don't.
Well, I don't. Thank you, Dave. I mean, I don't know if they're incomparable. I don't think they're the stratosphere all alone in the National League at the bottom of it.
They still have a lot of talent,
but
it's just not.
But here's the thing, and
roster.
This idea that it's February, like Dave just said, and I think some people agree with it. It's February 23rd. You kind of are who you are. Maybe you can make a minor move or two. Well, hold on. The last couple of years, they've done like a Michael Wacha deal. They've done a Sean Manaea deal. At the time, the Manaea deal was seen as something of significance. The Wacha deal was something of significance. There have been moves they've made in March that have absolutely impacted the team in a positive way. Michael Wacha is example number one of that.
Yeah.
He had a really good year. So if they could add someone of his caliber between now and opening day, you would feel like the roster's improved.
But the problem is, I don't know if there's a Michael Wacha out there.
They should trade for Michael Wacha.
No,
they could have had him.
They could have had him.
And if they have all this money, we have 20. I mean, they haven't said that, but people believe that, we got 20, maybe they have 30. They could have had him for the money that he was owed. He didn't make any more with Kansas City.
What was that graphic you posted today?
So the team that has the highest increase in payroll from last year to this year is the Dodgers.
Most in baseball history, right? Or was it just
no,
year by
this year? They went from 220 to 300.
Okay, so it's just by year.
So the Dodgers have the biggest increase in baseball, plus 80.
Mm-hmm.
The Padres have the biggest decrease, minus 90 in baseball this year. So Dodgers the biggest increase to 300. Padres the biggest decrease from essentially 250 to 160 is what ESPN put on the screen. So the biggest increase is the Dodgers. The biggest decrease is the Padres.
That's
one example.
Wild.
The Dodgers are the example of, I mean, they're falling out of bed in the postseason. And if they don't, something catastrophic has happened.
Everybody got hurt.
And even then,
they're still, their system is, you feel confident because they've actually proven they can develop in their system and have guys come up and perform at the major league level.
Right.
That's why this scenario with the Padres is so, unnerving and uneasy because AJ's not done it. He's not. I don't care what anybody tells me. Look at Tom Cosgrove and this guy. I'm sorry. There's not been one, besides Tatis, but there's not been one wave of significant prospects to come up and make a difference on this team ever with AJ Preller.
On the other side, we'll tell you about today's giveaway. Also, we'll get you ready for not just tomorrow's big Cactus League game. What about San Diego State, Fresno State? You can hear it here on San Diego Sports 760 tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Ted Leitner on the call. I'll have pregame for you beginning at 6:30. The wrap is still ahead. Kevin Acee joins us in the 5 p.m. hour. Stay with us. All right, hey guys, it is Schaefer. I've been telling you about my friends over at Novo Brazil Brewing for the better part of the last few months. It's a great spot this weekend. Maybe you're watching some Cactus League or college hoops tomorrow night. We're just talking about Novo Brazil Brewing is a proud supporter of the Mesa Foundation Collective, which benefits San Diego State men's and women's basketball. They've got a great brand new co-branded product with the Mesa Foundation, the Aztecs Raspberry Kombucha, which is a great, great drink. It's limited edition. It was taste tested by current San Diego State players, Lamont Butler, Jaden Ledee, Micah Parrish, and others. So pick that up and get over to any of their area locations this weekend, whether it's Otay Ranch with the massive LED screens, the great spot in IB, the fresh new spot in Mission Valley, which has been open about a month or so. It's spectacular. I've been there multiple times. It's indoor, outdoor, where you can enjoy the weather and some drinks and their food and all the games on these huge screens. It's 350 seats in Mission Valley, full bar menu, 60 taps of Novo Brazil beer, the kombucha, the seltzers. And again, it's great for families. You're bringing your family along. You're watching the games. They have awesome food like sandwiches and tacos and salads, healthy options, but anything you could possibly want. Brazilian-inspired entrees, burgers, empanadas, and much, much more. So get to one of their locations this weekend. And for more information, visit novobrew.com. That's Novo brew.com. Mexican Beer Festival. March 16th, tradition returns as an authentic Irish celebration. It takes over the streets of San Diego's historic Gaslamp Quarter. Your chance to win tickets to the Shamrock St. Paddy's Day Music and Beer Festival coming up on March 16th. Kevin Acee will join us coming up at 5:30. I think there was something I was going to say.
What were you gonna say?
Maybe. We're going to play, by the way, Manny Machado on beating the Dodgers 101 from Adam Jones' podcast.
There's a couple things that we want to get to. One of them is what they need to do to try to beat the Dodgers in the National League West. But I think when you hear what Manny has to say, it applies to the overall season more than the Dodgers.
I'm not even worried about it.
I'm not worried.
And they shouldn't be either.
Not with this team. Not with this roster.
I'm worried about beating them March 20th in Korea, but I'm not worried about beating them for 162.
Last year's roster will be way more upset when they didn't beat the Dodgers than if this year's roster doesn't beat the Dodgers. I don't think any roster in baseball can match up to that. It's about what you do versus
Atlanta has looked the same.
Yeah, they're probably not comparable with the Dodgers. But like last year, it did make me upset because I'm like, it's a $250 million payroll. You're asking for the Dodgers every single day, and they're the one that's actually said they were taking a step back and they didn't do anything for agency.
Well, they lost 11 more. They took 11 games backwards from 111 to 100. But my issue with it wasn't Padres Dodgers, where they finished the season. That's a big difference. What the Padres do this year against the Dodgers is where they finish in the standings. The Dodgers are for 162. The only way to catch them is you got to go into the season saying they've never done it ever in the history of the organization. If the Dodgers don't win 100 games this year, that would be one of the biggest surprises in baseball.
I don't think it matters. The bigger surprise is
no, but I'm saying it does. That's what I'm saying. But we're already, it's February 23rd. What you're saying is that there's no path to it.
Yeah, there is. Unless something catastrophic happens with the Dodgers,
but I don't know. And I'm saying, who cares?
Right.
Which I hate to put it so bluntly, but who cares?
And also later, me and Machado talked about that clubhouse and kind of like what needs to be different in that clubhouse. That is pretty interesting.
So is it two different sound bites or one?
Two different sound bites. We're going to play one here, one up right now.
Okay. We'll get both of them. Okay. How about right now? We'll talk about San Diego State. I just saw San Diego State. 12.5 point favorite. They're in Fresno, taking a team that they've had a lot of success against. Fresno State, coached by a former Aztec assistant, really respected coach, obviously, in Justin Hudson. It's one of those games you just got to get tomorrow night for San Diego State with 4 games remaining in the regular season. Why? You're thinking Mountain West tournament seeding. Why? You're thinking NCAA tournament seeding. Why? You're thinking overall metrics. So it's a game they should win. It's on the road, though. The road's obviously been tricky. We're not just State, just college basketball. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m., you can hear it here. Must have here to get playing Colorado State or New Mexico. It's Fresno State on the road. You won 45-43 last year. Go to a national championship. 45-43. It's all the goal is find a way, win the game, erase Utah State, and move on.
You can't have any slip-ups here. Actually, you can't have any slip-ups. Yeah, the regular season. You look at their schedule, it's not like daunting, like they just faced their last 4 games. You got Fresno State, then you come home versus San Jose State, one of the worst teams in your conference, and then you finish up the year at UNLV. That probably is the most tricky one, like on the road at UNLV, a sneaky
definitely.
upset, game there, and then you finish the season at home against Boise State, where you're one of the best home teams in the country. So it's not the trickiest schedule remaining, but there is the little speed bump here and there, and you can't afford to slip up if you want to win the regular season title. Because if you look at Utah State's remaining schedule,
their only tough game is New Mexico at home.
Fresno State, they take on them next Tuesday, and then they finish up hosting Air Force, going to San Jose State, and then, like you said, New Mexico at home to finish the season. That could be a very significant game for those two teams and San Diego State as well.
And that is that a Saturday game, the New Mexico game?
It's a Saturday
Which means
game.
You can actually still be alive. If San Diego State goes 4-0 the next 4 games, again, there's a lot to be done between now and then. If they do it, then they're alive for a Mountain West title into Saturday because they play Friday. They're putting pressure on a team like Utah State. Utah State would need to win to avoid sharing the title is what would have to happen on Saturday. So that's all San Diego State can do. Control their own, their own games. They can't control other games.
There could be a situation where every Aztecs fan will be rooting for New Mexico.
Yeah, definitely. In that scenario, if San Diego State wins out, if Utah State wins their next 3, the Aztecs need New Mexico to have a chance at a shared title in 2024. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
All right, we will hear from Manny Machado in the 4 o'clock hour. We will be joined by Kevin Acee in the 5 o'clock hour. We will give away tickets to the Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival in the 4 o'clock hour as well. It's coming up March 16th downtown in the Gas Lamp Quarter. Hour 2, Jon and Jim. We're with you until 6 p.m. Stay with us. All right, hey guys, it's Schaefer. I was over at Windmill Farms yesterday because I was on the Mesa for something San Diego State basketball related, and I picked up lunch like I always do each and every week over at Windmill Farms. Now I'm one sandwich away from another free sandwich because every 8th sandwich is free from their deli with the sandwich card. You go there once a week, you're getting sandwiches all types of times, and you're getting them every handful of weeks. If you're using a sandwich card, I love their deli. They've got healthy options with fresh, high-quality ingredients. They keep their prices incredibly low on their sandwiches. It's an amazing spot during your work week for lunch. In addition to that, they have all your grocery needs. You're getting ready for your weekends, just your typical grocery shopping, your tailgating needs, your game day needs. They've got you covered. Organic farm fresh produce and meats, amazing craft beer, and much, much more. Centrally located off Del Cerro Boulevard, right by Montezuma Mesa. They're family-owned. Trevor and his family serving San Diegans for over 20 years, supporting local businesses in our community. Mr. G Salsa, Harris Ranch. You don't even have to live or work near the college area because you can find them on Instacart. They'll deliver your groceries directly to you via Instacart. Also, they have weekly specials on Instagram and also at windmillfarmsmarket.com. So get there this weekend. Get there next week during your work week for lunch. Windmill Farms. Shop local. Shop at Windmill Farms.
This update is brought to you by Wendy's. Padres Dodgers Cactus League spring training game today. Padres lost 4-1. Next up, they take on the Brewers tomorrow back in Peoria. Pedro Avila will start for the Padres. And the Aztecs, big game tomorrow night in Fresno as they take on Fresno State. 7 p.m. tip-off. 6:30 is when our pregame coverage starts right here on San Diego Sports 760. When you think Wendy's Biggie Bag, think go-to meal deal. Because with your choice of a junior bacon cheeseburger or crispy chicken sandwich plus 4-piece nugs, junior fries, and a small soft drink, Biggie hits every time. So grab a Wendy's Biggie Bag today. U.S. price and participation may vary. Third-party delivery pricing may be higher.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour 2, Jon and Jim. This hour, your chance to win a pair of tickets to the Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival. That's coming up March 16th, so just a couple of weeks away. That's going to be downtown in the Gas Lamp. Also, next hour, Kevin Acee from, is it Camelback?
From somewhere in the world.
Is it Peoria?
Where in the world is
Kevin Acee? That should be our open.
Yeah.
Presented by
nobody.
No, that's not true. There were like 10 sponsors last year when he came on.
Are there 10 sponsors this year
Yeah,
when it
it's
comes on?
February. It's like the Padres roster. This is it's not fully cooked yet. Give us time. It's February. It's not March. Give us time.
Yeah, that's never mind.
What's your pressing question for Kevin today? What are they doing, Kevin? Is it like what's still going to be done? What are they talking about?
Yeah.
What are they actually talking about?
Are they done? Are they really going to go this
is
route?
Is it Merrill and all these other guys, or are they going to go deal with it?
Is it as glaring to you as it is to us when you actually see these players out there and how many holes they have and how many roster spots they need to fill? And is it that glaring, or to them, is it like what they really want to do?
Can I just reply to this comment on YouTube? And by the way, if you're not following us on YouTube, you need to find us, search for Jon and Jim 760. I have to react to this. And I appreciate everyone here. Jeff says, seriously, can the Padres just skip that series in Korea in a month? Save the city the embarrassment. What a joke. So everything that we've said all off season and all of these 2 days of the Cactus League has nothing. Nobody can predict what's going to occur in a random 2-game series in Korea. Because they've been outscored 18-2 the last 2 days doesn't mean they're going to be outscored 18-2 in Korea. We have no idea what's going to happen in Korea. The Dodgers could spend $1 billion. That doesn't mean they're going to win every single time they play.
Is it
right?
Is like, even if they lose both games in Korea,
okay,
they
were
only
stay there. They were 0-2 last year. Now they didn't make the playoffs.
Now Brent has made a very good point about this stuff,
which is
so their fan fest is after the Korean series,
Korea series,
and what if those 2 games they just get their asses kicked, like, to the point of what we've seen the last 2 days in spring training?
Okay.
That fan fest is going to be lively or no?
It's going to be fine. It's fan fest.
I know.
I mean, the tickets are already out. It's through like the MLB app.
There's still
families.
So many fans that give
right.
to, you know what,
entertainment.
And it's like, oh, I want to take my kid to the Petco.
Which is awesome.
And they have nice, I like their jerseys and it's fun. And Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. Oh, he lost 12-2. I don't care.
Now, would you prefer to get one in Korea? Yeah, I'm sure the Padres brass would prefer to get one in Korea.
Yeah.
Ahead of a celebration of life event, ahead of Fan Fest, ahead of additional spring training games, then opening day against the Giants. But the 2 games in Korea should not be an embarrassment for the city of San Diego, nor the Padres. That's not how Major League Baseball works. Maybe they win 2, maybe they lose 2, maybe they split. It shouldn't be embarrassing no matter what happens. I wouldn't. That's not my expectation going in. Oh, what an embarrassment.
You know what? Padres. You know what an embarrassment is in baseball? The Oakland A's.
That's embarrassing. The way the whole thing's run.
That is an embarrassment. If the Oakland A's were playing the Dodgers in Korea, then I would say that comment is 100% accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Having the A's be your like showcase team in Korea, that's an embarrassment to the city. Embarrassment to the fans and everything.
Right.
Not the Padres.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. All right, you're going to hear from Manny Machado coming up this hour around 4:30. Again, we've got those Shamrock Music and Beer Festival tickets we'll give away later this hour. Kevin Acee joins us in the 5 o'clock hour right now. Let's get to this.
Is tomorrow night a must-win for the Aztecs?
This is a new question theme.
It is. I like the new question.
The way it was angled there.
Right.
Like must
yeah.
win. I
Like,
don't know.
like the pitch and the tone of,
yeah.
is it a must-win game?
Like, have we ever used that term must win? Maybe we have. I just forget.
I feel like I'm doing voice lines for like a movie or something,
Yeah.
like Pixar thing. So I just have to read that same sentence
Over
800
and over
times.
and over again.
It's a must-win from the standpoint of if you want to win the regular season title,
Right.
not for your, NCAA tournament bid, but for your regular season chances to win the title. Yeah, you got to win tomorrow night. You have to.
No, I agree. And even NCAA, like that's the type of loss that can set you back, a seed line. So again, it's a team that's familiar with you. Truthfully, a rival within the state and within college athletics, San Diego State, Fresno State. Of course, they'll be up for it. Fresno State, they get a chance at a top 25 team that a year ago was in a national championship game. So San Diego State needs to find a way. They're coming off a loss. They always play well off a loss under Brian Dutcher. So I trust they will find a way. But yeah, it is a big game because San Diego State, all their games are big from here on out. Next question.
Between Matt Waldron, Johnny Brito, and Pedro Avila, who will have the best season?
The question everyone's been asking.
Yeah. Well, those are three guys that are competing for a starting rotation spot, John.
Mm-hmm.
I think Matt Waldron has some good stuff. I think last year he showed in the big leagues, like he can get people out. But I'll go with Pedro Avila.
Pedro Avila is your guy.
Yeah, I'll pick him.
I'll go with Johnny Brito.
What a hard-hitting question.
Yeah, this is hard. I mean, as if anyone even knows who these people. Okay,
Right.
I'm going to go with Johnny Brito, who was acquired in the Soto trade. He
You're gonna
went
see a lot of
2
them.
innings today, allowed a run, or was it 2 innings, 2 runs?
2 runs, John.
I
know.
No, I'm going to go with Johnny Brito, who
First pitch homer to Freddie Freeman. It was
first pitch to
majestic.
Freeman saw, but not the first pitch of the game.
No.
Because Freeman was the second batter, I think.
third batter.
Whatever. I'm going to go with Brito. Had a nice year with the Yankees, made 12 or 13 starts. I'll go with Brito. I do think he'll be given an opportunity to start, dependent maybe on his spring. I've seen enough of Waldron. I like Waldron. I'm not in love with anyone that uses primarily a knuckleball.
Yeah.
But I like Waldron, and I think Avila. I've seen some good things from Avila too. I want to see Johnny Brito in the rotation this year, coming over in the Juan Soto deal.
Didn't Pedro Avila had like 3 scoreless innings today?
I can't even deal with this question. Next question.
Oh,
Comparisons should be saved for
it's
like Machado and Tatis.
Matt Waldron,
Yeah.
Brito, and Avila.
Between Matt McCoy,
oh my gosh,
who else started this game, and
Cam
Eduardo
Johnson,
They're the real X factors.
or Bryce Johnson, or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Next
man.
question.
Will LeBron end his career with the Lakers?
Is Willie?
Why are you looking at me like that?
Well, didn't he say he's going to?
No. He was talking about he doesn't want to make it a big deal for his retirement, that he doesn't like people praising him, which is a load of
Yeah.
you know
but I
what?
thought he didn't say he's going to end his career as a Laker.
No.
He's got an option.
To
be a Laker?
Yeah, I mean he's under contract for this year and next, I think.
Well, is he going to play beyond next year?
That's the question.
No way. Why? To stick out another year to wait for Bronny if he goes back to college for another year?
But Bronny needs some time in college for sure.
It appears.
Dude, I saw this meme this morning that said that Bronny needs to go back to college for 3 more years and then get a job after college.
Well, he's got a chance, I'm sure, to be fine. But I mean, come on, what's he done this year?
Not a lottery pick though.
Like 5 points
So,
and
18,
a lot of
yeah.
nothing.
6 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 20 minutes. He's been fine for a freshman. Honestly, that's fine. There's
Fine.
nothing wrong with that at all.
no,
But does that scream
Lottery
NBA or even NBA draft pick?
probably not
Right.
at this point in time. I'm gonna say he does end his career with the Lakers because where else would he go? I don't think he's going anywhere else. He's not moving out of LA. What do you say, John?
Well, it looked like Brent wanted to say something.
I think it depends on Bronny. If the Lakers are like, dude, your kid isn't as good as what we thought he was, we're not going to waste a draft pick or something on him. And then he's like, well, fine. Portland said they will. And I don't care if I win. I just want to play with my son. So I'll go to Portland because they'll take Bronny.
I agree with that. I mean, it's not even about draft. If someone signs Bronny and gives him a chance to play in the NBA, whether it's in 2024, 2025, maybe that would change things for LeBron. But I kind of agree with the sentiment that it's probably going to be in LA. I mean, he's already played for what, 3 franchises but 4 different tenures because of the 2-time as a cat. Does he need another franchise? That's a lot already. I think he ends at the Lakers. Next question.
Will AJ Preller make it to the end of his contract in 2026?
So that's the end of the 2026 season.
That's when his contract
3 years.
At this rate, dude, I'm gonna say no.
Really?
I'm gonna say no. That what Eric Contenda said about him kind of raised a lot of people's eyebrows, and how things are trending with this roster. If they don't compete and they don't win, I can see some change for sure.
Yeah, 3 years is a little aggressive right now for AJ Preller. I mean, I don't think it's impossible, but I don't know if it's the likeliest outcome for AJ Preller. He's got to get through 2024. Like if he navigates this to the postseason, he will absolutely make it through the end of the contract because he's got 9 lives. Dude. At that point, he'll get the extra 2 years, and even if we argue about it in 2025,
this team makes the postseason this year, and some of their prospects actually perform well. He might get a contract extension.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
maybe.
Here's the thing: if he makes the postseason, yes. If he doesn't make the postseason, he probably doesn't make it to 2025. That's my guess.
And Mike Schultz is an easy get out because he's on a 2-year deal.
And then you find another
manager.
I mean, it's a great question because it's unfortunate that there's a chance for this young core to be good.
But does he have the time
to see it through? Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Like, it might be a really good young group. I've said this a lot recently. Like, they're going to be good. The question is when.
If this was year like 4, 5, or 6, you're like, yeah, you can see it through.
Right.
And you're 10, guy.
Right.
You're 10.
Yeah. It's a lot of years.
You can't go to year 14 before you actually see a wave of prospects come through and actually perform at the big league level.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Without winning anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. And what does the other side look like? I mean, who even knows?
Like, think about that. Guys like DeVries and Ethan Salas and the guy that they just signed the other day with the rest of their international signing money, the
Humberto Cruz.
Yeah. I mean, AJ Preller would have to be the GM for this team of like what? 14, 15 years to see those,
to be fully seen through with those players. Yeah, definitely.
And to not win anything in 50. Has any GM in any sport been the GM of somewhere for 15 years without winning a damn thing?
Without winning, probably no. I mean, has anyone been a GM for that long? Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
The Pelinkas and the Cashmans.
But without winning something.
No, that'd probably be unprecedented. 15 years. I don't even know if someone's gotten to 14 or 13 or 12.
Well,
right?
Cashman and
no, but not without winning.
Oh yeah, without winning.
Yeah, not without winning. I mean, that is a great question. What is the longest tenure as a general manager in the Big Four without winning a championship? I don't even know how readily available that is on the internet. We're asking like ChatGPT.
But think saying that out loud is like, whoa, he is potentially going to have to be here like 15 years to see this total, to see the new wave come through.
Well, okay, let's say he is here 15 years
or 14 or whatever.
Well, let's say he is here 14 years. Let's say he's here 4 or 5 more years. Yay, Ethan Salas is 22. Yay, DeVries is 20. Yay, Humberto Cruz is 21. You're not even close. Like, they're not even close to seeing their full potential in his 15th year as the general manager.
So, like, you need to be the GM for 20 years
to see it through their primes. Of course, that's what happens in sports. Players get drafted, then there's new GMs.
That's why it's so crazy to think about like guys that he signed, like Manny and Bogarts and Tatis. Preller's not making it to the end of those contracts.
Probably not. Yeah, it's a
no
good point.
way is he here for another 10 years. No way is he here for another 12 years.
That's interesting. Like, no way.
Unless he wins like 2 World Series. Unless he builds 2 World Series rosters, then yeah. But the trend is not looking great.
Well, hold on though. I would say, but I don't think he needs to do that. I think he needs to get to the postseason.
I think now he needs to at least be getting closer and closer.
Now?
Yeah. Before with Peter Seidler, I don't think it really mattered much. Prospect rankings, high-rated prospects. Look at this over here. We have, a bunch of young talent. I think that Peter believed in AJ more than anybody's believed in anybody in their entire life. So it wasn't really about winning a championship. Now I think it is about, if you don't win a championship or you're not at least close or in contending for one, then it's time for a change.
No way.
No
they
way.
make the postseason. There's no scenario.
No, I agree. But what about 3 years from now when his contract is?
Yeah, I
is
mean,
up?
I don't know. You tell me. This is the organization, the San Diego Padres, that haven't been in a World Series since '98 and have never won a World Series. They're going to make a change, like a change because they're having success, but not the success at the highest level.
If they continue to have success, if they go on a trajectory of like make the postseason this year
And then miss out.
and then make the postseason next year, but win another series and make the divisional round, and then the following year they make like the NLCS or whatever the case may be, then yeah, he's going to be here because there's a trajectory of
what
him.
if they make it the next 3 years and lose in the wild card round all 3 years? He's gone. It's an interesting question.
It is, because
It's an interesting question.
I mean, you could argue that he should be gone.
Would you sign up for it in the postseason?
But you would sign up for it because at least it gives them a chance. And that's all you ask for in baseball now, is just to get in to have a chance.
Yeah, that's why I don't think they would make actually changes based on a lack of postseason success.
But they would make changes if it doesn't look like they're, I don't know, dude. You know where I stand.
The Padres.
You know where I stand.
I
He should
agree.
have been gone long ago.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. But if he gets into the postseason, it's 9 lives, 10 lives, 11 lives. If they make it in 2024, he's going to be a 12-year GM. If they make it in 2025, he's going to be a 13 or 14-year GM.
It'll go a long way for him to have this team in the postseason. It goes back to the points we've been making and you've been making, is like, well, then where's the urgency?
Right.
Where is the pressure from within to make sure that this team makes the postseason this year? Or at least, I mean, you can't like guarantee you make the postseason, but give themselves the best possible chance to do that when you know potentially time's running out.
Are we still having this conversation? 619. Preller hasn't even won a division title.
Doesn't matter.
I mean, no one cares anymore.
It would be nice, and I definitely am on the side of, I'm with Darren.
But you're leaning the other way now.
I am, but I still would like, it would be nice to have them actually overtake the Dodgers and win a division one time.
Yeah, and it would be nice if I put on 10 pounds of muscle.
Which will never happen.
Exactly. I mean, so the division, in my opinion, and I'm fine with people pushing back on this, yourself or Darren. I agree. I go strong by saying it is completely meaningless, but I've watched the Dodgers the last 2 years be made fun of by every fan base in the sport, and nobody has ever said, yeah, but they won a division title.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, I don't even worry about, if I'm winning a division title and then winning a World Series, great, amazing. You get everything you want.
If you were to ask me, what would I rather have? Winning a division, home field, and potentially a bye?
Yeah.
Or just, hey, you make it in as 83 win team. Like, I'm choosing the division.
I agree. I am too.
And I don't care what the trends have been the last couple of years, even though it's kind of weird, but also random of how the last teams to make it in have made the World Series in the National League. I still would take home field, first round bye, division title.
Agreed.
Every single day.
Agreed. But
every single time.
It's a lot like, here's the analogy. I'd prefer to be a 10 seed, not in Dayton with the extra game, the first 4.
Yeah.
But there have been teams that have gone from the first 4 to the final 4.
Yeah.
So I'd rather be the first 4 to the final 4 than the 10 seed that loses in Salt Lake City in the first round. The point is, there's no guarantee one leads you to the other, and you can get there multiple ways. And baseball's changed. Yeah, 25 years ago, no question. You had to win a division to do anything. But everything has changed over the last 25 or 30 years. And it kind of like Manny, we'll hear from him at 4:30. Like Manny was in a division with the Yankees and the Red Sox to start his career. That's hard. Manny's in a division right now with the Dodgers. That's hard. But at least it's been opened up, I guess, is my point. Like it's opened up the opportunities. And now you have teams like the Phillies and the Diamondbacks in the World Series the last 2 years. And you could argue whether that's good or bad. Maybe Dodger fans would say it's bad. I wish we won 110 games. Why do we have to go through all these rounds?
And the expansion of the postseason is like a good thing for teams like the Padres.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's also running the risk of these teams just trying to vie for the last playoff spot, not really pushing much all into the table. And the Padres did it last year and it completely failed.
Right.
But now it's like, wait, we only need to win like 84 games.
Right. So do we really need to do anything right now?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's like kind of watering down a lot of teams.
Yeah,
of, like
definitely.
not being as urgent. Let's, by the way, if I'm Blake Snell and I'm
Mhm.
Chapman and I'm these like 4 Boris guys, am I pissed at Boris right now or what?
It's a great question.
Like,
I think
bro,
you trust, but that's why you have him. You trust the process with Scott Boras.
I trust the process, but
What are we
I don't know
waiting
about
on?
you. I want to know where the hell I'm going.
True, but you tell me. Okay, I don't have Boris, and I signed. I'm just making it up. And Blake signed for 150. Great deal. 5 years, 150. A lot of money. And then you get Boris. You wait this thing off excruciatingly long, and you get 190. You just made $40 million. Yeah, there was a cost. You had to wait.
And do I want to risk having a bad season because of it and get
For
crucified?
$40 million.
I get it. A lot of fans.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
A lot of players are like, whatever. I made the bunch of money, but
Right.
how many players have waited off? And it like trying to think of not Lucas Giolito. Who's the lefty that was that pitched for the Giants, signed with the Yankees?
Oh, you're talking
Carlos
about last
Rodon.
year. Yeah, Rodon.
He had a great season with the Giants.
Right, and everyone hates him now.
And everyone hates him now because he waited and got a bunch of money.
But why do you have Scott Boras as an agent to make money?
True.
Well, I don't remember who the guest name was, but Darren had a former MLB exec on this afternoon, and he was talking about that. He said that a lot of the GMs are just calling Boris's bluff pretty much this year, to where
Yeah.
he would always be like, "Oh, my client is worth X amount of money," and no one would ever be like, "Yeah, no, we're not paying that much for that guy." And then eventually an owner would pay it and then bail Boris out, so then he'd look like a genius.
But you don't have that owner anymore.
But now they're just saying, look, we don't think Cody Bellinger's worth what you think he's worth, and we're just sticking to our guns. We're not going to pay that this year. And now Boris is looking bad because he's promising Bellinger and all these other guys. Yeah.
David Sampson, by the way.
Yeah.
With Darren earlier today.
that's a good
Former
interview.
GM.
Yeah. Also owners too, like it's also the owner's fault as well. Like it's
Yeah, definitely.
and not for not
Yeah.
spending money. Like shame on you.
Yeah,
you guys
sure.
are billionaires and you're disgusting for not wanting to spend money.
Very few teams have spent
Very
this
few.
offseason. Very few. All right, let's hear from Manny Machado on the other side. What's it going to take to beat the Dodgers? What about the clubhouse dynamic with the Padres? Plus, this hour, your chance to win tickets to the Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival. Next hour, Kevin Acee joins us from Arizona. Stay with us. All right, lower mortgage rates are here, and smart homeowners are wiping out all their credit card debt with help from Loan Pronto. Hey, guys, it's Schaefer right now. Loan Pronto has a cash-out refinance rate of just 5.49%. That is a huge drop. So you can get refinanced now, get cash out of your home's equity to wipe out all those credit cards and other high-interest loans. You can save hundreds every month with lower payments. Or if you still have a mortgage rate in the threes, you can use Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit. Just get the cash you need and leave your primary mortgage intact. Loan Pronto can get you $50,000, $100,000, even $200K in just a matter of days, which is unbelievable. Bottom line, Loan Pronto's got several options to help you erase debt and take control of your finances. If you call today, you can even skip your next 2 mortgage payments. You heard me right. So call Loan Pronto now. Here's the number. Write it down. 619-207-4336. 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. Again, 619-207-4336. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, 5.49%, has 6.39% APR, subject to lender approval.
This update is brought to you by Wendy's. Padres Dodgers Cactus Link spring training game today. Padres lost 4-1 tomorrow. They take on the Brewers back in Pedro Avila. Start that game for the Padres. And the Aztecs take on Fresno State on the road tomorrow night, 7 p.m. tip-off. 6:30 is when our pregame coverage starts right here on San Diego Sports 760. When you think Wendy's Biggie Bag, think your go-to meal deal. Because with your choice of a junior bacon cheeseburger or crispy chicken sandwich, plus 4-piece nugs, junior fries, and a small soft drink, Biggie hits every time. So grab a Wendy's Biggie Bag today. U.S. price and participation may vary. Third-party delivery pricing may be higher.
All right, be listening in about 10 minutes. Your chance to win a pair of tickets to the Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival, March 16th. Gaslamp District tickets, info, San Diego Shamrock.com. Manny Machado.
I do know him, not like personally, but
How about Clayton Kershaw, by the way, interviewed during the broadcast today, not even at Camelback.
Yeah, what kind of example is he setting for his teammates? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Bad leader.
Now, we're kidding. He's not really looking at anything until second half, right? That's what we're talking. We're targeting what, August for Kershaw.
And really, he has the biggest luxury of all time and the Dodgers have the biggest luxury of all time with Kershaw.
They don't
need him.
Mm-hmm.
He can take his time.
He can take his time. And if you get Kershaw back just for the stretch run and he's pitching effectively, like that's good enough for them. Now in the postseason, you might want to shut him down because
but maybe that would be the key to success this year is they'll just shut him down in the regular season so he'll be fully rested for the post.
It's crazy how his regular season numbers have still been good, even with the injuries. The numbers in the regular season are still really good.
Last year's numbers were very good,
and
right?
The numbers in the postseason are his numbers were really good a year ago. Now Kershaw's not needed until August, September, whatever. Manny Machado, not only is he needed from day one, he expects to play. Essentially from day one. And we're reading about
needed is an understatement.
It's a complete understatement. Manny was on Adam Jones's podcast within the last 24 hours. Here are a couple of things that Manny had to say. Let's start with the conversation about what it takes to beat the Dodgers. So Manny Machado, again with Adam Jones on his podcast, on what the Padres need to do to contend with the Dodgers.
It's about playing our baseball. At the end of the day, we got to play our best baseball and worry about the team in here. Worry about these 25 guys. How are we going to be the best group to go out there and do the little things that count? Getting the guy over, making sure we're in the top of the defensive list with the pitching staff that we have. We got to play good defense. And at the end of the day, us big dogs, myself, Toddy and Bogey, like we got to step up. If we want to get to where we got to get to, we got to have MVP seasons. And, we're very much capable of doing that. So, it's a matter of just going out there and just playing our game as best as we can.
Thank you.
Manny confirming the stars need to be the stars.
It's just sometimes nice to just hear it out of the person's mouth.
True, because you haven't necessarily heard that.
I don't think, and I could be wrong, I probably am, but when's the last time Manny's like, we need to be MVPs to win. We need to do the little things right. We need to play fundamental baseball, good defense for our pitching staff, and our big dogs, me, Bogey, Toddy, we have to perform in a big way.
That's just baseball.
But most of the time, it's not those things that he's saying. It's like the baseball. We have to all do well and do our jobs, blah, 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 blah. Put some onus on yourself, which is nice. I love to hear that from Manny.
Yep.
And it's 100% true. If those three guys don't perform and they don't play solid defense and, the pitching, that's an issue. But specifically the guys that he mentioned, him, Xander, and Tatis, those guys don't perform, you got some issues.
But if they are 3 of the top 10 candidates for National League MVP,
then that's a good sign,
you had a good
potentially.
year. There's no way you have 3 of the top 10 candidates for MVP and didn't at least have a good year.
They're like, oh, Angels had 2 of the top MVP candidates and had a bad year. Hold our beer.
Yeah,
we're going to have 3 MVP candidates and have a bad year.
All right, there's more from Manny Machado with Adam Jones. That wasn't it.
Oh, I know.
There was more in the conversation, including talking about the clubhouse dynamic.
What's the message now that you hold the reins in San Diego, big fella?
Yeah, I mean, we had our hitters meeting the other day, our first one, and it was, hey, let's what are what are our strengths? You know, what are your strengths as hitters? You know, I'm gonna drive the ball. I'm gonna stay gap to gap. Crony, what's your strength? Toddy, what's yours? And let's stick to that. And then we hold each other accountable to that. You know, and then at the end of the day, is look up to the scoreboard. See what the scoreboard is telling you. If it's telling you to drive the ball, it's gonna drive the ball. If it's telling you to, you know, get the guy over, let's get the guy over. You know, whatever it is. Sometimes you're feeling hot. Sometimes you're not. Knowing your teammates. I think that's the biggest thing that we're preaching is let's as an offensive group, let's all get together and what are we trying to do here? Kind of be in each other's minds so that, you know, we're all on the same page when we go out there and we step on the field at 7 o'clock every night.
I love hearing those things from Manny.
Hey,
I love it.
Hey, Crony, what do? You're gonna do this. I'm gonna hit the ball gap to gap.
Come on, man. Like I get it, but I mean it's I know you're joking. Me personally, like I love hearing those types of things from Manny because a lot of times it's not that. It's a lot of that's just baseball. We got to go out and play as a team and just play better.
You're falling in. Let me just say this, and I agree with you. He's talking to Adam Jones, former teammate.
Mm-hmm.
You're falling into the February trap.
I know I am.
You're listening to Manny Machado in February with a former teammate,
but
not
hey,
when they lose 5-4 March 28th.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm with you, Jim. I love like the new sense of like almost leadership
and like
that
urgency a little bit.
But I'm going to compare it to kind of like, you know, after the first of the year when people start going to the gym. You know, you might go to the gym for the first week or two,
off, yeah.
but are you still going to go to the gym in 3 weeks when you're getting tired? You know,
well,
so Manny might be full of, you know, pep and optimism now, but, you know, if they, you know, lose their first couple series, is he still going to be, you know, chipper and, you know, hey, we just got to do this or.
Well,
maybe.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Manny's the guy that we know always posts. He always posts. It's about the biggest thing last year was like the leadership. I do think there's a part of these players that are, I mean, how could they not be embarrassed about last year?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was like a rhetorical question.
Well, it's kind of rhetorical.
I think they were embarrassed by it, but I mean, this is like picking up a soap opera. The last time we saw them, Manny Machado was critical of what Kevin Acee wrote in the UT. I mean, the last time we saw them was what Manny was quoted as saying to Kevin last September. So now all of a sudden the flip is completely switched. And maybe you're right, but it's February, so we don't know. And when we're having hitters meetings and I'm saying, hey, Crony, you do this and I do that, it's great, but nothing matters yet.
I much rather have to hear that from Manny on February 23rd than him having to maybe get to that point in the season. Like, you got to start off on the right foot with the right mentality and mindset. And I love hearing that from Manny Machado there. I really do. I know that we're kind of joking. Like, I'm serious. That stuff from Manny needs to be the constant message throughout the entire year. Do your job, and the big dogs have to perform. I'm included in the big dogs.
Here's the thing with Manny.
And that is Manny Machado.
Here's the thing. And someone put in the chat, like a leopard doesn't change its spots. He, to your point, posts and produces and performs on field to the best of his ability. Some years have been better than others. That's how he's going to lead a team, by performing. That's his leadership quality. From what my experience watching Padres baseball and reading what comes out of, you know, we see what he says and reading the quotes from. That's how Manny Machado leads.
Right. Actions speak for him are louder than words.
Yeah, he leads on field, but you know what happened last year was he didn't have a good year. In turn, the team didn't have a good year. If it's going well for Manny, it's going well for the team. What happens? Can he lead a team by not being MVP caliber?
Do you think that any of the conversation and backlash from what he told Kevin at the end of last year got to him in a sense of like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have said it that way, and I kind of maybe need to change a few things in this clubhouse the way I am going about my business?
Yeah, maybe, potentially, but also he's been here 5 seasons.
I know.
And you had the 2019 second half, you had the 2021 second half, you had the 2023 season. He's been here 5 seasons.
Yeah, so at some point, what's going to break the camel's back?
There's been some good years. 2020 was a weird year, but it's good. 2022 was a very good
if
year.
If it wasn't the bad years, and it's now going to be him saying something to Kevin about leadership.
Yeah. So
I wonder if they're almost going to try and do like a leadership through a collective to where, you know, last year they might have all been waiting for Soto or Manny or just somebody to step up and take sole position of the leadership, opposed to maybe this year Manny's going to go, look, it's me and, Bogey and, Tatis and, maybe somebody else, maybe you or somebody. We're going to be the leaders and we're going to, kind of drive the ship, so to speak. And, we're just going to lead by example as a group, opposed to just have, one clubhouse leader. We're just going to be a group of veterans and we're just going to lead by group
This
example.
is Matt McCoy's team. Based on what I saw today, that single through the right side or whatever his name is.
Mike McCoy, Matt
Whatever his
McCoy.
name. No,
Something special.
The hitter isn't Mike McCoy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
What his name is.
they need to have they can't do leader by group because that's 26 leaders. Remember that quote by
No,
Manny?
yeah.
Like, no, yeah,
I know.
Not that big of a group. I mean,
Maybe
like
just a group
2
of
or
like
3.
5.
Yeah.
All right, call right now if you want a pair of tickets to the Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival. Here's the number. Great prize. First 2 callers will be our contestants for trivia. 877-767-4760. Again, we have 2 free tickets to the Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival. It's March 16th in the Gaslamp District. 877-767-4760. 877-767-4760. First 2 callers will be our contestants. Then Kevin Acee is going to join us in the 5 o'clock hour. Stay with us. Matthew, appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Matthew.
Thank you for the super chat. Missed it earlier, but getting to it now. So thank you. He says, what move will the Padres make in free agency, Jim?
Nothing.
So far, not many. Jerkson Profar is free agency. Yuki Matsui, Musa Go are free agents.
I am predicting no move
No move.
in free agency.
Right.
Trade, maybe. Free agency, no move.
I'm predicting one move in free agency. Nothing of grave or great significance.
So if a random no-name guy's signed,
If he's on the major league roster.
that's right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's anything big. I'm not waiting for Cody Bellinger's signature.
No.
I'm not waiting for Blake Snell.
No.
Who are the other free agents? Jordan
Matt Chapman,
Montgomery.
Jordan Montgomery.
Yeah, I'm not waiting on those guys. The next tier,
Tommy
Tommy
Pham.
Pham's an interesting name. But
Adam Duvall, Chris Taylor.
yeah, Michael A. Taylor.
Michael A. Sorry.
No,
Michael
not
A.
Chris Taylor. He's
Michael-
obviously.
Yeah, Michael A. Taylor.
So there are some names. I mean, again, I wouldn't be shocked. I don't think anyone would be shocked if it was a $3 to $5 million 1-year deal with someone. But I'm not. Again, we're not holding our breath for anything of big significance. Jim would be surprised. $3 to $5 million deal for a player, even though Yuki Matsui got whatever you got, $3 or $4 million per year. Matthew, appreciate you guys. If you're here, please subscribe. We get to super chats during breaks as well here on YouTube, so we appreciate you guys. Please subscribe, smash the like button for us, and we will be back momentarily. And Kevin Acee's hopping on at 5:30. Thanks, guys. Rec Radio. Stay with us. Kevin Acee is on the show at 5:30. Kevin Acee on the show. Padres lost
Hard-hitting
today.
questions for
Oh, we're
Ace,
not doing
man. Ace.
Padres lost today.
Season
Spoiler
over
alert if you
again?
taped it on ESPN.
Season over again?
They've been outscored 18-2, but we're not worried about that.
Run differential's a problem now, though.
In the Cactus League, it is. In the Cactus League, it absolutely
Can they
is.
get out of the cellar tomorrow with a big game versus the Brewers?
It's back at home, right?
Back in the
Peoria?
old confines of Peoria, Arizona.
So this is Brewers Padres tomorrow. Is it a noon Pacific start tomorrow?
Let me tell you that, John. It is
Give me the weekend schedule for the Padres.
tomorrow. They play the Brewers, 12:10 Pacific time.
Okay.
Pedro Avila on the mound for the Padres. And then Sunday, they travel to Mesa, Arizona, to take on Brent's Cubbies. TBD for starting pitcher.
He's
that
been
day.
very good.
Very good.
He's consistent.
12:05 start time there.
He's been in the league for like decades.
Right.
Then Monday next week, back at Peoria versus the Guardians.
Okay, that's enough. That's 3 days.
But all of these games,
Yeah, I don't
by
need
the way,
full schedule. Yeah.
all the games next week are all noon starts. Like every single game.
Does that worry you?
The
That they
ne-
haven't been able to get ready for these early starts?
Every game is like a noon start.
Well, they'll get later in spring. They'll play at night because of night games.
The first night game, March 8th in Peoria, 5:40 p.m. First the Giants.
That's huge.
Bob Melvin's return to Peoria.
Oh, that's true. That's true. All right.
Will they boo him?
Kevin Acee at 5:30. More reaction to the first 2 days of the Cactus League. Yay.
Yeah.
We were hopeful for a new season, and we still are. It just hasn't gone swimmingly these first 2 days. But right now, let's play.
We're cautious.
Right.
All right, 3 questions, 2 contestants, 1 lifeline. Today's contestants, we have Dennis and Scott. Dennis, you called in first. Do you have your choice of John or Jim? Who do you want to go with?
Let's go with John.
All right. So that streak continues. I mean, we are pushing maybe the year.
It
in
is
2024.
like on a 2-week stretch here where it's always John.
Yeah.
Maybe the theory of like saying John's name first is like starting to really
John
like,
and Jim.
I'm picking John first.
All right. So Dennis
Maybe I'll
and
switch
John.
it up next week.
Scott, well, here's the advantage for
We'll do a little
Scott. Like
experiment.
every single buddy that picks first always picks you, but that means they don't get to go first.
Wait, what?
I don't know. Scott, you're
No,
with
that
doesn't
me,
seem to
okay?
matter.
Let's go, Jim. Let's go.
Let's go, Scott. All right, buddy. I don't know what I'm saying. Brent, what's today's question of the day?
All right, guys. The NFL 2024 salary cap was announced today, and it's set at just a tad above $255 million, which is an increase of over $30 million from the past season.
Thanks, Taylor Swift.
Right.
With the new adjusted cap number, there are a total of 6 teams that have at least $70 million in cap space. Today's
Wow.
question: name any of the 6 teams that have at least $70 million in cap space this season.
Jeez.
Padres?
Nope.
Okay.
Wrong.
I'm kidding.
Scott, buddy, you are up first. What is your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you choose to use it.
I'm going to go with the younger team. Let's go with the Houston Texans.
Houston Texans.
That's a good guess. Not that good.
Not that
Oh,
good.
man.
I
Okay.
know.
It's
okay.
okay.
It's okay.
It's early.
Very early. Dennis,
It's
you're up
close, they're
next.
7th.
What is your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you choose to use it.
Okay. They're talking about the lower scale or the higher scale.
The teams with the
Low-
most cap space.
So the teams with the lowest payrolls.
Well, let's go with the Dodgers.
No. Hold on.
In NFL.
the NFL.
Oh, the NFL.
And lowest, that wouldn't work in baseball either. They have the
No,
highest.
no. Okay. I get it.
Whoever has the most money to spend.
And he guessed what team?
The Texans.
Houston.
Texans.
Let's go with the Chargers.
The Chargers.
No, they're all the way up against it.
Not even.
No,
yeah.
they're way over. the
Okay,
cap,
so we're
actually.
even up
We're
here.
back to even.
Dodgers off the board, Padres off the board, Texans and Chargers.
Scott, you're up next. What's your second guess? You do have a lifeline if you choose to use it.
The Brewers. No, I'm just kidding.
the
Let's go with the Indianapolis Colts.
Colts.
For a lead.
Standing
Wow. Well done.
All right. Good job there, Scott. Dennis, you're up next. What's your second guess? And you do have a lifeline if you choose to use it.
Let's go with Green Bay.
Green Bay.
The Pack.
No.
Man, Brent hit that button quick.
He
on
did.
Green
He's like,
Bay.
screw that.
Nope.
They barely have 8 million in cap space.
Scott, you could win it right here with the correct answer. If you want to use a lifeline to lay up for the win, what are you going to do?
Jim, take it home, man. Lifeline.
The Chicago Bears.
That's all Brent talks about.
Do you take it?
Yep.
There you go. There you go.
Wow. I feel like I'm playing under protest because
Why?
Jim said, or do you want the lifeline a layup for the win?
Because I knew it was right.
Right.
Yeah. I gave my contestant incentive to use his lifeline.
Okay, I'm not playing it under protest because
Yeah.
I really don't
You really don't care.
All right, who else is on this list?
All right,
Patriots, right? The Commanders? Patriots?
Patriots are on the list. Commanders are on the list. Commanders are number 1.
Wow.
They have just over $87 million.
Oh, Kirk Cousins, come on down
Then
again.
it's New England's got just under 83. Then it's my Bears who got just over 80. Then it's Tennessee who has 78 million. The Bengals have about 73, and then the Colts have 72. Houston was a good guess. They were 7th. They only have 67 though.
All right, so congratulations to Scott.
Where are my Niners at?
They have no money.
The Niners have $834,000.
Oh, they're
in
fine.
cap space.
That's another
No,
Brock Purdy.
But
That's
they're-
fine,
They're
because
better
they're-
than the Chargers because they're 200 or they're 22 million over the cap.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? It's called restructuring of contracts, so I ain't worried.
Oh, you're not worried. I know. All right, Scott, congratulations. You've won 2 free tickets to the Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival, March 16th. Tradition returns as an authentic Irish celebration takes over the streets of the Gaslamp District. Heading back to its roots, the 28th annual Shamrock provides a full lineup of the nation's top Irish and Celtic rock bands, iconic tribute performances, and Irish dancers galore. Tickets, info, SanDiegoShamrock.com. That's SanDiegoShamrock.com. Next hour, back to the first 2 days in the Cactus League. Will Yu Darvish be ready to go by the Korea series? Kevin Acee at 5:30. We get you set for San Diego State tomorrow night at Fresno State right here on San Diego Sports 760 tomorrow at 7 p.m. It's hour 3 of Jon and Jim, and it's next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Wendy's. Padres Dodgers Cactus League spring training action today. Dodgers won 4-1. Padres take on the Brewers tomorrow back in Peoria. 12 p.m. is the first pitch scheduled there. Pedro Avila on the mound for the Padres, and the Aztecs take on Fresno State tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Tip-off 6:30 pregame right here on San Diego Sports 760. When you think Wendy's Biggie Bag, think go-to meal deal because you're with your choice of a junior bacon cheeseburger or crispy chicken sandwich plus 4-piece nugs, junior fries, and a small soft drink. Biggie has hits every time. So grab a Biggie Bag today. U.S. price and participation may vary. Third-party delivery pricing may be higher.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Final hour of Jon and Jim this week. We do have Aztec basketball for you tomorrow night at 7 p.m. from Fresno State. Pre-game covers, the countdown to tip-off. I'll have it for you at 6:30. Ted Leitner on the call, 7 p.m., Aztecs and Bulldogs. Jim's back page is ahead. Kevin Acee is going to join us in like 25 minutes or so don't go anywhere. I want to react to a text as a jumping-off point. Obviously, Cactus League plays underway. You know, if you're a big Cactus League guy, maybe this hasn't been the start you're looking for. I don't really know any big Cactus League guys.
My spring is ruined.
Right, exactly. But if you're a Cactus League Padres person out there, like this is like your favorite time of the year, okay. You've had better Cactus Leagues.
Going like a trip to spring training.
Great, fun.
To go to Arizona for a weekend, go to a couple games, hang out in the outfield, drinks, hot dogs, like that's fun.
Right, but you're not worried about the 8-run first. I mean, you might be worried about the 8-run first.
It might be. Spring training is really expensive this year, I guess.
There are some people that go and they have their scorebooks and they literally score every single game.
That's me.
Not me.
Okay, so anyway, here's the text I want to get to. And I don't really know why he's saying this because this isn't really us, so that's why I want to get to it. 619, Jon and Jim, I don't want to hear from you after a loss that it's only March or April.
What?
Every game is important, 3 exclamation points. Like, do you know who like our bit? Do you know who we are? Like that's like the opposite of what we always say. Now, we're not going to say it February 23rd because it's pointless and meaningless to do it. But March 20th, I doubt when you watch us on the wrap-up show March 20th or listen to us on Jon and Jim that day, and if the Padres lose, I doubt we'll be hunky-dory about it if the Padres lose and say, well, whatever, it doesn't matter because they all do matter, truthfully.
Well, the narrative about that was kind of thrown out the window last year when the home field for the World Series was decided by a Phillies Rangers series that was like
April,
the second week of the year.
Right.
And last year to start the season, big arguments between, me and Darren and a lot of people about it's April, who cares?
Right.
And actually it does matter. Like you said, every game matters because if 84 wins gets you into the postseason, it matters.
Right, because the Padres had 82 and we scoffed at, well, they're 0-2 at home against the Rockies. Who cares? Well, you look back and you went 2-0 against the Rockies. You're in the playoffs.
Yeah, now that team didn't deserve to make the postseason.
Right, but I mean, the point is the point, which is especially teams with little margins. Dodgers, they're going to win 100 games. So if they won 99 because they threw a game away, well, they won 99.
Yeah, their margin of error is very large.
There's a much smaller margin here. I think we all agree on that. You might think the Padres are a playoff team, but you do agree their margin is thinner than Atlanta or LA's.
Oh, way thinner.
So knowing that, one-run games important. They were terrible last year. Extra inning games important. They were terrible last year. Runners in scoring position magnified. They were terrible last year. These are the things that could be the difference for San Diego in 2024.
Yeah, we've already said we're not going to come on this show once the season starts. And if they start 1-4, say like that's early.
No, I'm not going scorched earth.
I'm not going scorched earth.
I'm not going scorched earth.
No. I don't mean I'm going scorched earth, Jon. I just mean like I'm not going to sit here and pander to the audience and the fan base if they start out 2-7. Like it's fine. It's early.
No, I agree. I didn't say you said you would. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
it is. Listen, the year's long.
It is long. A lot of things can happen.
We were very critical for most of the year, and the truth is, there were periods of time they looked like a quasi
competent team.
Yeah, not contender, but like hanging around for a postseason spot. I'll give you an example. They swept the Texas Rangers at home. They're heading into the trade deadline. They're a couple of games out. They looked quasi capable of doing it.
And then Joe got hurt. And
and then they didn't. And then in September, I'm with you. They were never really in it, but they looked like a team that you were hoping to see 5 months earlier. But no, we're not going to sit here every single day. And by the way, it's also not our job. I mean, I love when people are like, why don't you just wait to see how it plays out? Because we talk for 3 hours a day, actually more than that, about it. We can't wait to see how it plays out. People are listening to us for our opinions on the subject. So we're going to provide them to you.
And we react to every game.
Every single one of them.
We watch every pitch. We watch as much Padres baseball as you all out there listening. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to react to every game. And we know it will be like the first game of the year. But if they get swept in Korea, I mean, it's not going to be a situation where we're going to come on the next day and be like, yeah, who cares?
Right. Be like, oh, that crowd, that was special. Yeah. I mean, I'm with you.
Like, it's going to be a bummer. We'll talk about it. And we'll then try to forecast what's going to happen next and react to what happened in the game.
React and be like, here's a good example. Hey, Darvish only went 3 innings. He only made those couple of Cactus League appearances. That could have been the difference between winning and losing the game.
Is that going to affect him to start the rest of the season?
Or interestingly, Mike Schilt went to Yuki Matsui for the first save opportunity. It didn't work out. Why Matsui? These are the things that people are going to be asking.
Yeah.
These are the questions that
we're not going to go scorched earth season over if they start 0-2 in Korea, or if they come back home and start the year,
whatever.
Like,
they won the World Series.
Yeah. If they start 8-2, it's like the greatest start ever. But we're also not going to be sitting here and say, get your World Series tickets either.
Right.
And the same thing is going to be said if they start 2-8. We're not going to say, pack it up, season's over.
Right. Yeah.
But you will definitely hear the range of like 8-2. Nice start, exactly what they needed to do. They needed to start out fast because after what happened last year, they couldn't afford to come out slow with a slow start this year.
Mm-hmm.
They start 2-8.
The opposite.
Yeah,
no, I agree. And like even talking about these last 2 days, 14-1 loss, 4-1 loss today in Glendale or wherever, Camelback. And again, it's not about that. Come March 20th, it's about that. Like 14-1's 14-1 March 20th. These last 2 days are about when we get to March 20th, are they going to do the things they need to do to give them the best chance to win? And by having the best chance to win, I mean have like a left fielder, center fielder, and DH.
Yeah,
and of course they those are the questions. If they lose 14-1 March 20th, that's the story. 14-1 isn't the full story. The story is Musgrove couldn't record now, and Jake Cronenworth did a home run. Whatever Yuki Matsui struck at the side. Those are the stories. They lose 14-1 March 20th. There's no, Yuki Matsui worked a scoreless inning. It's like, what happened?
In the start last season, when they did not play well to start the year, there was a thought from everybody that this team was good enough to afford to maybe get out to a slow start or have a bad stretch, because we all thought the margin for error for that team with the talent they had on it was large.
Mm-hmm.
Like we thought, hey, can they lose 8 of 10 a stretch in this year and be okay? Probably, because this team is loaded. It didn't turn out to be the case. Do I think this team can afford to have that type of stretch, or maybe even prolonged longer stretch of, in this season? To be determined, but it's gonna be much more difficult. It just of what you see on paper and you see with your own eyes. And that's why I say to get out to a good start is pretty critical to me because of the margin of error that I've been talking about. Can they win 19 of 22 games at some point in this upcoming season? I mean, sure.
Right.
But do you expect that? I expected kind of that of last year's team.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Do you expect that of this year's team? Probably not. So that's why getting out to a fast start will help give them margin for error. So if they do go through a stretch in the season where they're losing, 10 of 13 games, right? They built up a decent amount of wins to start the year to help withstand that stretch in the season. That's why, to me, to start out not like gangbusters, but kind of, I got to have a good start so you can withstand potentially those types of stretches in the season.
Which is why today, like when we talked about their lineup, there was not one player in their lineup that would be a day one regular.
Not that I saw.
There was a backup catcher who's going to make a lot of starts.
Yeah.
You would assume, but there wasn't a day one regular. And that's why I'm not even going to concern myself with much of anything this spring other than the moves they're making to address their needs for opening day. That's honestly how I feel. We're going to get enamored with it all. You'll see people say Jackson Merrill, what a fine defensive play, or what a big hit, or Jake Cronenworth has hit 3 home runs in 5 games. And all of it has a level of relevancy. But it's, like not the elephant, but like kind of the elephant is like, how are you going to finish off the roster?
Yeah.
So you listen, Jake Cronenworth can have a nice spring and Fernando Tatis Jr. can have a nice spring, but we already know that. And maybe they don't have nice springs. I'm not concerned if Fernando Tatis Jr. only hits 1 home run in 12 games this spring. But finishing off the roster to get ready for March 20th is something every single Padre fan is thinking about and concerned about. And that's where our focus is as well after these first 2 games of the Cactus League. That's how I look at it.
And opening day here in San Diego versus the Giants, the bunting's out.
I love that.
Probably will be a sunny day, knock on wood.
Hopefully.
Got the Giants coming to town with Bob Melvin returning. You can't help but be excited. That's how I am. I know that's how you are, because it's the start of baseball season. I love opening day. Opening day is it's one of my favorite opening days of all the 4 major sports. Basketball doesn't really have that feel. NFL has that feel a little bit. Baseball though, opening day in baseball just hits different. And with this Padres team, we're all going to be excited, regardless of how they finish out this roster, regardless of how they address their giant holes in it. Come opening day here in San Diego versus the Giants, everybody is going to be pumped. The following day,
Tony Gwynn opening day,
it might hit people in the face a little bit, and then so forth as the weeks go on. Then it's like, okay, reality might be setting in.
The one reality that's kind of setting in for me that I hadn't thought about until like the last 48 hours is, Musgrove hadn't pitched since July 28th when he was back in the mound yesterday. And that's, you kind of knew it, but you didn't think about it in those terms. And I wasn't thinking about it heading in. And then I see he doesn't record now. And I'm like, maybe there's going to be a little bit of time. He hasn't pitched since July 28th. And then you think about Darvish, who hasn't thrown since last August.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
So, that combination, Darvish hasn't thrown since August. Musgrove hasn't thrown since July. Now, nobody is saying anything alarming about you, Darvish. No one. They're, in fact, saying the opposite. Ruben Niebla,
Mike saw a video of him today on the mound.
Right. He's pitched. And he's had BPs, and so he's pitched. But remember, we thought maybe we'd see him in one of the first 2 Cactus League games. Hasn't happened. Kevin Acee writing at this hour, and Kevin's going to join us in less than 20 minutes, that he's expected to make his first Cactus League start early next week.
Okay.
So everything is fine, but I would caution, and this is where the reality hits you. To your point, like day 2 of the regular season. The reality is...
Or week 2 of the regular season.
But no, the reality of what you're up against, 162 games and what it takes.
Yeah, it's not over after game 1.
Darvish didn't have a complete season last year and was hurt. Musgrove didn't have a complete season last year and was hurt. And like our Machado, Bogarts, Tatis, hey, they got to be good to be good. Are these guys going to be capable of giving you 180, 190 innings when they weren't anywhere near it a year ago? You want 190 really good innings out of guys that haven't pitched in a long time. It's just, I hope they're veterans. They're capable. They've had great careers. They're still, certainly Musgrove's in his prime. You could argue about Darvish, but are they going to do that when the rubber hits the road? Are they going to be those workhorse guys for this rotation this year?
To win this year and to make the postseason, there is no other choice.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, unless you go out and trade for whoever, but that's not happening. There's no other choice, John. None. And I don't mean to be as blunt as that, but it's the truth. They don't have any other choice but those 2 guys to be really good this year. And if both of them aren't, or if even one of them isn't, then you're going to be running into some serious problems, because you don't have much backup in that rotation to withstand a bad year from Darvish or Musgrove, or even years where one of those guys missed significant time because of injury.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't. You can't afford it. You need the 2022 versions of those 2 pitchers, or else, And it's as plain and simple as that. You can't get any more blunt than that. Those 2 guys, they perform, and they're top rotation pitchers. You got a shot. Right. If they don't, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And it's like, again, you get all enamored. It's the start of spring, and then you think about it. You're like, I watched Musgrove yesterday, And it isn't a big deal. And he said the right things afterwards, like the Dennis Lynn article, like it's not even really relevant other than getting back out there and being healthy. But what is relevant, like what Dennis wrote about yesterday, is he hasn't pitched since July 28th. So it's not some normal year where he's coming off 180 innings and he was, 15-7 the year prior. No, that's not what happened. He was banged up a lot last year. And now you're asking him to be the opposite of that. Yu Darvish, he was banged up a lot last year from the WBC not being used properly until he was shut down. There were highs and lows all year with Yu Darvish. And I use this term all the time. I've been using it more with the Mountain West in the NCAA tournament, this threading the needle. Padres are trying to thread a needle now.
Ooh, I like that.
They're trying to thread it. Hey, Darvish has got to give us innings. Effective. Musgrove's got to give us innings. Machado, Tatis, Bogarts have to be the guys they're capable of being. It's like you're threading here. You're drawing for one card in poker. Not really, but like you need a lot of things to go your way. Is how I'm when the reality hits me in the face. That's how I'm seeing it. I'm not saying, hey, it's all over. Musgrove only faced 4 batters. No, I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying the reality of it is like real. The reality of it is real that their margins have only gotten thinner since the end of last year.
That should be the hashtag for the Padres. Hashtag thin margins.
Thin margins and like thread the needle in 24.
Thread the needle.
Yeah, we're threading the needle.
Thread the needle.
Yeah. So again, we'll see. I'm really glad spring training is shorter. We don't have to deal with all this for months. We don't. It's over. They'll go to Korea March 13th, and then we'll deal with that. It's only a couple weeks away.
Because the one thing about spring training, for the first couple weeks to start spring training, it's like baseball's back, and you start really diving in, and then
you're like the 9th game. You're like, did they play today?
You're what happened? Can this just end, please? And can we just get to the regular season? Right. So I'm with you. I'm glad that spring training is shorter this year, and that their season starts sooner than everybody else.
Me too.
Because I just want to get going. Like I just want let's go. I'm tired of the speculations and talking about this roster. Like I just want to see it. And if they perform, that's great. And we'll talk about it. But if they don't perform, then we'll kind of say, not that we told you so, but like we were the ones that have been really concerned about this.
Can I give you a really interesting backdrop that you know about, but we haven't widely discussed? For a San Diego sports fan, the interesting backdrop is, correct me if I'm wrong, this has basically never happened. You're going to have Padres regular season games against the backdrop of potentially Aztec NCAA tournament
same
games.
Day?
Potentially the same day. So the season opener, of course, is at 3 a.m. There's no direct conflict, but the season opener is Wednesday. That true NCAA tournament kickoff is a Thursday, right? Everyone skips work or is, everyone's thinking about that Thursday, right? That first round day is a Thursday. Yeah, you have the first 4. Yeah. But the Padres play Wednesday and Thursday. That Thursday, March 21st, could be an Aztec first round NCAA tournament game. That's kind of unique. I mean, it's a cool day. You might have Padres Dodgers followed by, some 5-12 game or 4-13 game in the NCAA tournament. But it's like normally you'd have your attention for like a week on the NCAA tournament, but it's still spring training and nobody cares. You're a week out, but this is regular season Korea. We've been talking about this for like a year against the Dodgers.
Well, I mean, it happened last year, John.
Not opening day. It didn't.
Not opening day.
No, that was well into the tournament.
Oh, I thought you were talking about just like Padres Aztecs on the same day.
Every year, Championship Monday is already opening day. Every single year.
Well, didn't they play a Final Four game?
They did.
And then
the season's been moved up. But I'm saying never have the Padres opened March 20th.
Okay.
So the NCAA tournament is always started.
So just like first round games.
Yeah, like that's no, you're right, 100%. No, yeah, national championship game. The Padres were like playing at the same time against the Rockies.
And then
Saturday
in that Final Four game, they were playing.
The gates were open.
The gates were open to watch it, and everybody watched Lamont's shot.
Yeah. So that was, and by the way,
buzzer.
That time of year, because it was the Final Four, you know what got all the attention? Obviously, was San Diego State.
Yeah, and everyone's wearing
like the Padres that first week were almost like a bit of a backdrop. Joe Musgrove's wearing Aztec jerseys. Xander Bogaerts is talking about San Diego State. Yeah. Remember?
Yeah.
This year, both will get attention, is my point. You're playing the Dodgers in Korea. It's opening day. That's a big deal.
3 a.m., man.
3 a.m. is a little early.
Oof.
How many people are going to watch this live and how many won't?
Good question. Probably a lot will watch it live. But I also think the following day, like that Thursday, like I think a lot of people will watch on Wednesday. And then Thursday, be like, you know what?
I'll watch it 7 when I wake up.
I'll just wake up at like 8 and just watch it.
And maybe not turn on my phone. If you just woke up at 8 a.m. and watched it and skipped the
You
commercials,
just have
you
like
get it done in
you
2.5
just
hours.
record it.
Yeah. Just watch it.
Probably a lot of people might do that.
Yeah. 3 a.m. I mean,
Dude.
we talked about this offseason when we found out. We're like, wow, it's such a baseball move. I understand it's in Korea. 3 a.m.
And not pandering to like your actual demographic, which is America, like
And specifically West Coast America.
West Coast America.
With the Dodgers and the Padres playing.
And I'm sure Dodger fans are like, I want to see Shohei play, and I got to be up at 3 a.m.
Like I'd prefer midnight, ends at 3 a.m. or
like 10 p.m. or like
or 7 a.m. is better.
Even like 7 a.m. or 6 a.m.
Yeah, 7 a.m. Yeah, 3 a.m. I have not. I'll be honest. You know us. You're a diehard. I'm diehard. I haven't watched a lot of live sporting events at 3 a.m. in my life. I'm sure I have, but not a lot of live sporting events. Maybe Olympic thing in my life. What else would you be watching?
You know, it's actually funny you mentioned that. Now, you might not consider this a sporting event, but I actually kind of do.
Okay.
So this upcoming morning, so tomorrow morning at 2 a.m.
What are you watching?
There's a WWE premium live event happening live in Australia.
Wow.
Isn't that tomorrow?
Saturday morning. So it's 2 a.m. Well, it's
2 a.m. tonight or 2 a.m. tomorrow night?
2 a.m. tonight.
2 a.m. tonight.
Yeah. So 2 a.m. tonight on the West Coast will be a WWE live event in Australia. That's like kind of the only thing I can think of that I.
Are you going to watch it?
No, I won't.
Because you could just watch it when you wake up, right?
Right. But I'm like thinking to myself, I don't know of any really other sporting events that have happened that I have been like extremely interested in
overnight.
That have been overnight. Like if the Niners went across seas and they played in London and they started at 6 a.m., then
it's still
but
early.
like 3 a.m., 2 a.m., like I can't think of anything off the top of my head that I would even contemplate watching.
Right.
I only have one.
Let's hear it.
Is either 93 or 94. The first year the Badgers went to the Rose Bowl under Barry Alvarez.
Didn't they open in like?
No, they played Michigan State in Tokyo in the Tokyo Dome for the final game of the year. And that was the game that clinched the Big Ten and sent them to the Rose Bowl. So they got to put the roses in their mouth and do all that stuff at the end of the game in Tokyo. But that game didn't start until like 2 or 2:30 in the morning.
That's crazy.
And I was like 12 and my parents let me stay up.
Oh, you can stay up. When you're 12 years old, you could like literally stay up all night long and go to bed at 6 a.m. and be fine.
All right, let's talk to Kevin Acee on the other side. He is in Arizona. He will join us from spring training. That's next. All right, by the way, the Underdog Fantasy Pick'ems are underway for spring training. I had one earlier today using Johnny Brito, new Padres starter, in my higher-lower pick'em.
You're doing spring
and
training
by the way,
games?
I hit lower than 1.5 strikeouts. He had one today for the Padres. You can get in on the action right now with Underdog Fantasy and these simple pick'em games. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select higher or lower on player stats. If your picks hit, you can win up to 100 times your money in one single night.
Yeah, it's legal in California. And if you like fantasy sports, you guys are going to love Underdog Fantasy. It's the best and easiest way to win.
All right. So, again, whether it's MLB spring training, NBA action, go to their easy-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with promo code Jon and Jim. So write that down. JONANDJIM. Jon and Jim. Underdog's going to match your first deposit up to $100. You're going to love their mobile app. Plus, they're going to give you a free special pick you can use as well.
That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code Jon and Jim to get your first deposit of $10 or more matched, plus your special pick. Must be 18 years or older and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms do apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. All right, this update is brought to you by Wendy's. We'll start with the Padres. They lost today to the Dodgers in Cactus League play 4-1. Next up, they return back to Peoria to take on the Brewers tomorrow afternoon. Pedro Avila is scheduled to start that game. And the Aztecs take on Fresno State tomorrow night, 7 p.m. on the road. 6:30 is when our pregame cover starts. Of course, you can listen to that and all the action right here on San Diego Sports 760. When you think Wendy's Biggie Bag, think your go-to meal deal. Because with your choice of a junior bacon cheeseburger or crispy chicken sandwich, plus 4-piece nugs, junior fries, and a small soft drink, Biggie hits every time. So grab a Wendy's Biggie Bag today. U.S. price and participation may vary. Third-party delivery pricing may be higher.
All right, Jim's back page is ahead. Aztecs basketball tomorrow night at 7. Pregame coverage at 6:30. Spring training Cactus League action is here. We are now 2 games in. Kevin Acee here, Padres insider from Arizona, back with us here on Jon and Jim. He'll join us each and every week throughout the 2024 baseball season. Kevin, it's always our pleasure. I want to start with something that isn't really based on the first 2 games, but really about you, Darvish, because Darvish is obviously critically important, like Musgrove is as well, and a lot of these pieces are. There's been a little bit of I don't know if concern is the right word among Padres fans, but I don't know about the Padres themselves. Is there any reason to believe, based on where we are right now, that you, Darvish, won't be pitching for the Padres or starting when the season starts in Korea?
I guess there's a little reason, but if he's not ready, then Mike Schill has to do. I mean, absolutely nothing but saying that he expects him to be ready. No one else has said he's not, or even that he's not going to be. But just the fact that he was going to start, I hate to, hold a team that, hey, it's not ready, and then, he did the right thing, he's a good player, and he did our talking, and he decided to do it. I don't want to say that. I want to try to put that out there like, oh, that means that, things went wrong. No, you Darvish is a unique animal, right? He's ready the way he gets ready. Look at that. So, I think I can see stuff. Does his simulation for life and on that field, maybe in between starts, doesn't start for like the second week. So the fact that it was accelerated, he was penciled in. He was today, as a matter of fact, but he did throw his first one at that. So it's not like he's not healthy. They just say, you, Ruben Niebla, tells us this would be better. I know that you, after the first 2 starts, did it like this. So I think everything.
Kevin, I know, they know the holes they have on the team: left field, center field, DH, 2, back end starting pitchers. Do you think that if these guys don't perform, like the young guys, right? Do you think that they're gonna go out and make a move, or what is their plan B if their plan A with their young talent doesn't perform in spring training enough where they can say, all right, this guy kicked out the door, he's gonna be on the open day roster? What is their plan B if that doesn't happen?
I do think that whatever is to go get somebody, and especially for a back. I do think they like their pitching, and that going out the philosophy that has been multiple people is that you go out, you get a starting pitcher now. What's the minimum you're paying this guy? $4 or $5 million, the guy that you expect to get the for? That's minimum, and they feel like they have to fund guys that are just about that good for $770,000 or $1 million. So I don't think on the pitching, unless earlier prices got really down, that's the route. So I think that, as in right now, that would be plan B. I do think that we go out and get another bat here at some point. Like, you just take a look at today. And this is their choice. Like, outside of Jack Romero, this is their choice. And look, Carroll played a few games at relative few games at AA. Like, what they have after those six, like, even if you were going to go with the company line, and I'm not going to argue with it, but and say that similarly, I think, even if you go back, like, ooh, there's not much after that. Or I think there's not much after that. There's not much improvement after that. There are a number of guys who played major league games, multiple different teams, and there are a bunch of, you know, prospects. And that's all there is. And this is supposed to be a contending team. So they're looking for some real big breaks out of the season, or they're getting somebody else.
Kevin Acee is our Padres insider. He is in Arizona. Cactus League action underway. Kevin, I was somewhat surprised by Eric Senda's maybe candid or honest remarks regarding how everyone's accountable for the success of the organization in 2024. He mentioned himself, he mentioned Eric Group, and he certainly mentioned AJ Preller as well. What was your reaction when he said that will be graded based on how the team performs in 2024, including the general manager?
Yeah, absolutely. You had to be surprised if what you were used to was a chairman not even considering the idea that himself would not be the president of baseball operations. So my belief is, and that's based on when I try to give you guys my beliefs based on people that I talk to, is that that was exactly how we took it. I'm not going to call it the hockey, but AJ Preller will be judged largely on what this team does this year. And being that this is his 10th full season, being that, he was given quite a bit of resources to build this team, I don't think that anyone could say that that was unfair. No matter what else. I mean, look, the guy's done a fantastic job in a lot of areas, including overseeing the rebuilding of this minor league system. But, at some point, results on the field for your major league team are what matter. And I do believe that is what he'll be evaluated now on. And, to get back to your original question, yeah, that's quite a departure from what we've had here recently.
Do you think he feels any type of pressure? Like, we got to win now. And with that pressure, it might force him to do something to make a move or not.
He doesn't just call Peter Seidler anymore, right?
Yeah.
That was a little different. Now he calls Eric Acee and Eric Grupner and says, hey, I like this. Can we do it? And, they've established that they're not going out and going crazy. Now, I do believe that they have kept the payroll where it's at so that they do have the ability to go out and get people. But AJ's ability to do that is not as great as it once was. I also believe that AJ has been so aggressive that I don't know how much more aggressive he could be with his job on the line. The guy's practically he's practically run his business as if his job's constantly on the line, and it hasn't been.
Mm-hmm.
So it really has to do with what are they able to do, and I think that they think that the resources that he has been given, the resources he has given Mike Schultz and the players, is enough for them to go into this season believing they're a contender. And then we'll see what happens as the season goes on. It's been said by a lot of people, they're in the organization, they can add, right? But they're not doing it right now because they believe they have a team that can contend.
Kevin Acee is our Padres insider. I know we haven't seen Manny on field yet. We are expected to see him in the lineup as a DH, I believe, tomorrow. Knowing, you've spent so much time, obviously, around Manny over the years, just knowing who he is as a player. Would you be surprised if Manny Machado wasn't in the field when the season started March 20th, or is it too early to answer that question?
My answer to you, I always try to answer you, is yes, I would be surprised. And I also want to say it might be too early because, look, the other day in particular, from the start, he's been doing virtually 100% and virtually at 100% effort, swinging at 100% effort, taking almost as many swings as he normally would. Throwing a little less, but still throwing, making all the throws, just not with the usual zip, and making fewer throws. The other day, he did one of those Manny specials where it was a particularly hard hit ball, deep at third, and he didn't really hurry, but then with that wonderful clock he's got, boom, zipped the ball across the infield. That was full strength. And it's this guy's ready to play third. Now, 162 games. And all that means, the ability to have him as a DH. I think they'll be careful. But, yes, I would be surprised.
Yeah. When are we expected to see Michael King?
believe Monday, but do not know. They're being a little more guarded with that this year. Just, they are. Bob Melvin's not around anymore.
Right. Yeah, it's a good point.
And I guess right off they had a plan and it kind of got blown up. So, but Schultz is being a little more careful with that stuff. And we all know that AJ loves to be secretive. So, but I believe that I didn't get to catch up with Michael today. I believe that it's Monday. He threw yesterday. He is doing well, and we should see him.
And what's their expectation for him this season? I would assume it's a pretty large, hole that he needs to fill with the loss of Waka and Lugo. Like, do they expect him to be like those guys and make a jump to like 160, 70 innings, possibly at the high end? Or like, what's the overall expectation for Michael King this year?
Well, I have a story that was going to run today when he was going to pitch today, or yesterday when he was going to pitch yesterday. It's being held, but yeah, he has very high expectations and a little higher than you just said. And yes, it's not an unprecedented jump that you would go from 104 innings he threw last year to where he wants to get to, but it is a rare jump. But the guy has thrown 140 something twice in the minors. And that I looked back, and the guys who make that jump for the most part, say a 40, 50, 70 inning jump, they generally have a background like his. It is possible. And look, what Seth Lugo did last year, going from like 60 something to 146, I think it was. Like, if Michael King can do that, then he might be the staff leader in innings or challenging Joe for it. So. They expect this guy, and if they are to get that out of him at the level they think, that's a pretty good number 3 starter. But like we talked about, man, there's 2 proven guys, and one of them hasn't thrown in a game, quote air quotes, yet this spring, and the other guy, he was working on stuff yesterday, but he gave up some hits. So, yeah, a lot of questions about that pitching staff.
Yeah, there is. Kevin, before you go, because we had Bryce Miller on yesterday, and he wrote a column yesterday off the 14-1 loss. We all get it. It's not about 14-1. It's not about 4-1 today, with nobody in there that is overly impactful as we sit here right now. But would you agree with the sentiment overall? Like, hey, people have been waiting 5 months, and you didn't do a lot in the offseason, and the optics of it aren't overly appealing. I mean, is there any sentiment with that? Just the way this thing has gotten off the ground over the last couple of days?
You can't help but have that, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, I don't think there's anything like that inside of the organization.
Of course not.
Other than their acknowledgement that, yeah, you know what? Like, I get it. Like, how could you not? I'll put it this way. My personal experience, I thought of it, right?
Right.
And
yeah.
I have got to be among the top 1% of people who do put no stock, right?
Yep.
In spring training. And I got a few emails, and it was like, my first instinct is like, roll my eyes. And then I'm like, I get it, man. I mean, it's 14-1. This is, coming off last year.
Right.
It's the Dodgers. I get it. Yeah. And then you go out and lose to them again today, like you said, even less, but it was, like, you can't, I don't think anyone can be blamed for going, really?
Right. It's just one of those things. It's again, it doesn't matter, but again, it's just one of those things. It's just, oh gosh, the Dodgers 18-2, 2 games. Can we please have nice things even in the Cactus League? Kevin, appreciate it. We'll do it again next week. Thank you for hopping on.
All right, guys. See you later.
All right, Kevin Acee. Padres Insider, Jim's back page next. Murray, thank you, my friend. All right, so San Diego State, he writes, is 3-0 in this tournament they're playing in right now in Palm Springs. They have Oklahoma next. By the way, I said Oklahoma hadn't lost in years. They were 62-1 last year, which is pretty good. I feel like if the Padres start 62-1, I'll feel like that's like a good start. Can they beat Oklahoma? I believe that we will win. I mean, why not? San Diego State's got an amazing softball program, and they just beat like a top 10 caliber team yesterday, as we talked about, Missouri. They've played a ton of top 25 teams already, and they were awesome last year, like one of the top 16 teams in the country. I have no clue. I mean, Oklahoma, it's like, I guess they're like the Harlem Globetrotters. or like the Warriors when they won 73 games. I mean, obviously
You want to be the best, you got to.
they're historically good. So I don't know what it means, even if they lose by whatever the margin is. But I mean, why not? Why not take a shot? To be the best, you got to beat the best. So why not? Murray, thanks, man. Appreciate your super chat.
Thanks, Murray.
Guys, subscribe. Apologize for the audio issues. We have audio issues sometimes with interviews. We have no clue as to why. We've contacted our chief engineer at iHeart San Diego. It's hard to
Have him do it.
it's hard to figure out what the issue is.
Yeah.
Because if we could do it, we would have done it, obviously, because this is our livelihood. So if we could do it, we would do it. So
We're sorry.
blame
We're
Jim.
Sorry.
What I like to do is blame Jim.
Sure.
Bye-bye. Jim's back page coming up. All right, we've got Jim's back page for you. That's coming up next. Tip-off Aztecs in Fresno taking on the Bulldogs. Save Mart Center, 7 p.m. Tip-off. Ben Fletcher is engineering the game. He's in Fresno. Ted Leitner will be on the call. That is tomorrow night.
Big game, John.
They all are. They all are. Join us beginning at 6:30. Right now, let's get to this.
When you go to a coffee shop, like a chain, like Starbucks, Dunkin's, like, do you think energy drinks?
No, I don't.
You think coffee, right?
Yeah. And donuts, maybe.
Yeah, and like a pastry or
pastries,
something.
yeah.
Well, Dunkin' Donuts is unveiling a brand new energy drink that you can purchase in stores called Sparked Energy by Dunkin' Iced Energy Drinks. The new menu item comes after multiple lawsuits were filed against Panera Bread for its own energy drink. So, yeah, I guess this energy drink at Dunkin's is kind of saying, you know what? We don't really care about any of that. We're making our own energy drink. Stepping in the energy drink game.
I mean, it makes sense. It's a huge market.
Huge
so
market.
It makes sense. But no, I wouldn't have thought that.
Would you ever drink a energy drink that has 144 milligrams of caffeine and a large has 192 milligrams?
Is that a big number? I think Celsius is 200. I'm pretty sure a Celsius drink, which I'm addicted to, I think is 200 milligrams.
Well, the Panera Charged Lemonade energy drink that is getting these lawsuits, in a 30-ounce cup it came in, contained up to 234 milligrams of caffeine.
And that's a crazy high number, you're saying?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, but isn't that what you are going there for?
Right. Isn't that what's in coffee? How much is in coffee?
Not that much.
Yeah, but by the time you go to Starbucks or whatever and then have them put your, extra 4 shots of espresso and all that other crap that coffee drinkers put in it, isn't it going to be somewhat similar?
I mean, maybe. But Dunkin's, the story is Dunkin's coming out with a brand new energy drink called Charged. So
you're trying to reach a new clientele, right? Because the people that are going there for coffee are already there for coffee. They're not there for energy drinks.
No,
so now you're trying to get that young male demo that doesn't do coffee but does energy.
I'm not a big energy drink guy, energy drinker guy.
I mean, I am hooked on these Celsius things. They're so good.
Do you have one with you?
No.
Okay.
Does it cause kidney stones?
Probably. if I told you it did, would you stop drinking it?
Yeah, cold turkey. You know me.
I know.
Exactly.
Yeah. A rare Lego piece was found at a Goodwill, and it sold. Forget this. $18,000.
What's a rare Lego piece? Like a rectangle?
It was a 14-karat gold Lego piece.
Oh, that's rare.
The piece is called the Bionicle Golden Kanohi Mask, which sold for $18,000. Was found by workers at a warehouse in Pennsylvania and is believed to be the only one of 30 that exists. In 2001, some were gifted the Lego by employees, or 2 employees the Lego was gifted to, while the rest were awarded throughout a contest. When the rare Lego was found, no one really knew what it was. The item was posted on a Goodwill site for just $15. Little did they know what someone would pay for it. The final bid was $18,101. The second highest bid was $18,100.
I'm sorry, that's amazing. Jones loves Legos, but I wouldn't let him play with Legos that were worth $18,000.
Not only is this the most expensive item the Goodwill in Pennsylvania has sold, it's also the highest price paid for a Lego piece.
No-ish.
Yeah.
In fact, it takes the number 1 spot by more than $3,000.
Okay.
This Lego piece looks like the Predator mask.
Yeah, I saw it this morning.
Okay.
It's wild.
18 grand, that is wild.
$18,000. I would never pay
18 grand for a Lego?
for a Lego.
No. Okay. What else do you have?
So I literally just got this message on my phone. I don't know if you did or if you did, Brent. It says, AT&T, we apologize for Thursday's outage. I'm like, what?
I don't have AT&T.
Yeah, I don't have AT&T.
Well, if you had an outage, Krispy Kreme is offering free donuts for phone troubles. In light of the widespread cellular network outage reported among AT&T and other cellular users on Thursday, Krispy Kreme is offering a free glazed donut to anyone who struggled with service. The company said on Thursday.
or saying the word cellular.
Cellular services users.
Cellular shoulder
It's
surgery.
following Max
cellular
Scherzer
soldier
There'll be some-
surgery. Oh,
All right,
man.
join us tomorrow night. Countdown tip off at 6:30. San Diego State, Fresno State at 7. If you missed anything, sportssc.com, iHeartRadio app, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Spotify. Find us on social at Jon and Jim. For Brent, for Jim, for Cellular, I'm John. Keep it here at San Diego Sports 760. Okay.